Astrological Forecast of the Conflicts for December 2024 by Ambrosius Holloway. December's Cosmic Tides, a winter solstice of reckoning and renewal. As the cosmos sets its sights on December, the heavens conspire to bring forth a season ripe with anticipation, transformation, and consequence. Mars squares Jupiter, that fiery exchange of ideals and power, while Mars sidles close to Saturn, creating a celestial tug-of-war that echoes through the corridors of power, reverberating across borders and ideologies. Uranus, poised to go direct in Taurus, shakes the very foundation of our sense of stability, awakening ancient tremors of change in everything from financial markets to personal convictions. December's astrological dance becomes a mirror, reflecting the pulse of global tensions and the stirrings of monumental change. A pulse that beats ever louder, demanding our attention, invoking a sense of urgency that feels both thrilling and foreboding. Under December's lunar phases, a soft yet unwavering light shines on international relations, casting shadows and illumination in equal measure across the world stage. Ideological shifts gain momentum, weaving through conversations and strategies, tugging at the foundations of national identity and urging nations to grapple with questions of legacy and purpose. Infrastructure, once merely functional, now symbolizes something more profound, a statement of resilience, a reflection of a nation's commitment to its future. This is no ordinary December. It is a time when we are called to pause, to reflect, and to act with a responsibility that carries the weight of generations past and the hopes of those yet to come. December 21st arrives, and with it, the sun steps into Capricorn, ushering in the winter solstice. It is a moment ancient civilizations revered as a time of stillness and endurance, a time to look inward and recommit to the structures that bind society together. This ingress marks not only the longest night of the year, but a turning point in the collective psyche. Themes of governance rise like ancient cathedrals in the mind's eye, emphasizing not just the rule of law but the resilience of ideals rooted in accountability and foresight. We may feel a palpable shift toward economic discipline, with policies emerging that emphasize long-term planning over quick fixes, sustainability over excess. Around the globe, leaders are pressed to confront the gravity of this season with a fresh resolve. Economic measures prioritize the durability of systems rather than fleeting gains, calling for fiscal responsibility and growth that is not just measurable but meaningful. Environmental policies find their focus sharpened, no longer mere promises, but resolute plans for resource management and climate resilience that demand, not suggest, action. National security becomes more than defense. It transforms into a commitment to stability, with investments pouring into infrastructure and public safety, laying the groundwork for societies that can weather storms, both natural and man-made. As pragmatism takes root in international relations, alliances are crafted with an eye toward endurance, forging connections that promise mutual support against the uncertainties of tomorrow. A spirit of professional ambition sweeps through the collective consciousness, recognizing dedication, rewarding hard work, and encouraging a forward-facing resolve. Here, December becomes a crucible, forging not just policies or alliances, but the very spirit of resilience that will carry us into the next year with an unwavering sense of purpose. As the month unfolds, the suspense only deepens. With each planetary movement, the celestial script intensifies, hinting at an even greater reveal just beyond the horizon. What awaits on this path of transformation? December's skies invite us to look up, to ponder the mystery, and to prepare for what's next. The narrative of the stars continues, a story that grows richer and more intricate, leaving us eager to see what new chapter will unfold in the tapestry of the cosmos. Stay with us as the winter solstice gives way to an even more intriguing journey, one that promises not just change, but an enduring legacy.
Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius from December 1st to 15, 2024. As Mercury slips into its infamous retrograde in the boundless skies of Sagittarius on December 1st, 2024, an uneasy stillness descends, a foreboding prelude to a world about to wade through miscommunication and disrupted diplomacy. The stars hold their breath, watching as Mercury, messenger of the gods, begins its dance backward across the heavens, casting shadows over crucial conversations and diplomatic ties. Sagittarius, the seeker, feels this backward gaze sharply, as it has long been the keeper of far-reaching connections, explorations, and ideological battles. The impact is felt like a faint tremor rippling across continents, nudging nations toward the edge of misunderstanding, especially where geopolitical tensions simmer. The first ripple brushes through the United States and China, two giants locked in a delicate dance of economic rivalry. These nations are as vast and powerful as ancient mountains, rooted in ideals and ambitions as deeply as the roots of a thousand-year-old tree, yet as unyielding as iron. Mercury's retrograde here feels like a gust of wind unsettling autumn leaves, swirling around unspoken fears, unfulfilled promises, and unsteady commitments. Diplomats stationed in Beijing and Washington sense the shift, aware that the typical flow of discussions is now obscured by clouds of doubt and suspicion. In boardrooms and government chambers, once clear trade negotiations begin to waver, like mirages in the desert heat. Terms that seemed ironclad now appear brittle, frayed at the edges, and vulnerable to interpretation. Economists watch the markets quiver under the strain, as whispers of potential tariff disputes or policy delays make their way through the ranks, causing subtle waves of anxiety. Each moment stretches long as diplomats, analysts, and leaders feel the weight of Mercury's retrograde press down, pushing them to question every word, every promise. The potential for delays in trade agreements is real, an elusive sense of progress, like a phantom in a fog-laden forest. Markets may twist and turn, responding to each hint of a disruption, reflecting the broader mood of uncertainty. With every passing day, economic anxieties tighten their grip, mirroring Mercury's backward journey across Sagittarius's philosophical skies. Yet, amidst this haze, there lies a glimmer of guidance. To counter the risk of fraying ties and spiraling misunderstandings, diplomats can hold fast to clear, proactive communication. Words must be chosen with the precision of a craftsman honing his finest work, for Mercury retrograde demands nothing less. Revisiting agreements, those old blueprints that seem solid but now show cracks, is another necessary measure. Revisiting, rewording, and reaffirming can forge paths through the thicket of confusion, allowing both nations to rediscover their footing. And so, Mercury's retrograde in Sagittarius invites us to look forward, not just to the end of these trials, but to the evolution they might spark. As the final day of retrograde approaches on December 15th, it beckons us to hold our gaze on the horizon, anticipating what lies beyond this fleeting storm, where clarity returns, promises are fulfilled, and the world finds its rhythm once more. The journey is not over, in fact, it has only just begun. Stay with us as the stars continue to turn, for what lies ahead is as captivating as it is essential. As Mercury weaves its retrograde spell across Sagittarius in early December 2024, an intense stillness fills the air, lingering with the weight of history, conflict, and unresolved promises. Along the Russia-Ukraine border, where frost-kissed fields and battle-worn landscapes hold memories of countless clashes, the tension is palpable. Mercury's retrograde turns the stakes up a notch, as missteps and misunderstandings creep through the cracks in military and diplomatic channels. Here, amid watchful silence, even the smallest miscommunication can feel like the striking of flint, threatening to ignite old and festering grievances. Military posts along the border, cloaked in shadow, seem to hold their breath, each side acutely aware that a single misinterpreted word or unclear signal could set a chain of events into motion. Ceasefire agreements, fragile, hopeful words penned in ink, waver under the cosmic pressure, their permanence seeming as ephemeral as mist in the winter dawn. On both sides, commanders, soldiers, and officials alike brace themselves against a growing undercurrent of mistrust, feeling Mercury's influence deepen the divide, tugging at the frayed ends of communication. In the heart of the conflict, however, there lies an ember of hope, a means to mitigate the effects of this celestial turbulence. Neutral third-party mediators, figures from the UN or the European Union, could offer a balm to the festering mistrust, standing as vigilant translators of intent and sentiment. Their presence might serve to smooth over rough edges, ensuring that words are carefully chosen, deliberately received. Within the military ranks, stricter communication protocols could add layers of security, reducing the chance of unintended signals or misinterpreted orders from lighting the proverbial fuse. Turning southward, under the same celestial influence, Israel and Palestine grapple with their own legacy of unrest and fragile ceasefires. Here, in the ancient heart of the Middle East, where olive groves and bustling markets witness the daily pulse of life, peace itself feels tenuous, always just beyond reach. Mercury's retrograde casts a long shadow, threatening to cloud humanitarian negotiations, slow the release of hostages, and disrupt the fragile balance of ceasefire arrangements. The stakes are high, with every delay or misstep potentially deepening the chasm that divides these two lands, drawing the region toward the precipice of yet another flare of violence. Yet, within this darkness, a glimmer of diplomacy persists. Established communication channels, through regional partners like Egypt or Qatar, offer a lifeline, a thread of continuity and cultural understanding that could bridge the gaps Mercury's retrograde seeks to open. With each word spoken or message relayed, transparency becomes paramount. Stakeholders must share openly, allowing clarity to shine through each agreement and ensuring that commitments remain grounded in truth, holding parties accountable and preventing misinterpretations from festering into further discord. As Mercury concludes its backward journey on December 15, the world will watch to see how these conflicts evolve. In the wake of retrograde's unsettling influence, the promise of a return to clarity beckons, offering nations the chance to rebuild, to reconnect, and to recalibrate. But the echoes of this cosmic disturbance will linger, reminding us that in the realm of diplomacy and peace, even the smallest miscommunication can cast a long and formidable shadow. The stars, once again aligned, urge us onward, toward a world that, while shaped by these challenges, still holds space for hope, for resilience, and for a future brightened by the possibility of understanding. Stay close, for the journey ahead is one of profound consequence and transformative possibility. As Mercury glides into retrograde within Sagittarius in early December 2024, its influence reaches far and wide, casting a shadow over one of the world's most delicate borders, the line dividing India and Pakistan in Kashmir. Here, where mountains stand tall as sentinels and rivers flow through contested land, the weight of history rests heavily, shaping every interaction. Mercury's backward pull across the skies draws forth a heightened sense of caution, as every word, every signal between these two nations, seems poised on the edge of unintended escalation. The Kashmir border, once serene under the winter's first snowfall, now brims with a quiet, invisible tension, as if the land itself is holding its breath. In these tense days, even the smallest miscommunication could become a spark in a forest thick with dry tinder. The long-standing mistrust between India and Pakistan is stirred, casting a haze over ongoing back-channel dialogues and confidence-building measures. The border pulses with an unseen energy, as if Mercury's retrograde has stirred ancient wounds, conjuring the shadows of past confrontations. Every diplomatic signal, every military protocol, seems burdened by the unseen weight of cosmic interference, as if each message must pass through fog and shadow before reaching its intended audience. Yet within this fog, there lies a beacon of hope. Confidence-building measures, direct lines of communication or peacekeeping forces, could act as lighthouses in this murky sea, grounding both nations in a shared understanding, however fragile. Additionally, regional organizations like SAARC or even UN peacekeeping forces could lend stability, ensuring terms are clear, roles are understood, and peace remains within reach. Through these efforts, Mercury's influence can be softened, allowing clarity to seep through the thick tension. Turning to the west, another strained relationship faces Mercury's celestial test, Iran and the United States. Between these two powerful nations, every word, every diplomatic message feels laden with implications, as if each carries the weight of the nuclear question and the unyielding scrutiny of the global community. In December's waning days, nuclear agreements feel as tenuous as spider silk, stretched thin over the chasm of mistrust. Delays or miscommunications here are not mere inconveniences, they are potential preludes to escalation. With every minor delay or unclear report, international leaders find themselves holding their breath, fearing the reverberations of a misunderstanding. In this delicate arena, clear and trusted communication becomes the lifeline, a way to sidestep Mercury's influence and ensure that every action, every decision, is fully understood. Diplomatic representatives would do well to adhere to transparent channels, to ensure their intentions cannot be misconstrued. Here, the presence of a neutral observer, the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, could offer reassurance. As an impartial eye over nuclear compliance, the IAEA serves as both watchman and arbiter, capable of dispelling doubts and diffusing tensions. As the clock counts down to December 15th, the world will wait to see how these struggles resolve, as if Mercury's retrograde were a test of resilience, a cosmic reminder of the fragile balance upon which global peace rests. When Mercury finally resumes its forward path, it will leave behind a world tested, shaped by these challenges, yet poised to find clarity and resolve in the wake of adversity. And as we look to the skies once more, we know that this journey has only deepened our understanding of what is at stake, and that the story is far from over. Stay vigilant, for the future promises to be as intricate and compelling as the trials Mercury has set before us. As Mercury glides backward through Sagittarius this December, its cosmic influence seeps into the intricate web of regional alliances, first reaching Japan and South Korea, a duo bound together by shared concerns over North Korean developments. In these lands where the ancient meets the modern, the two nations stand vigilant, aware of the delicate balance that governs their security. Here, in the shadow of the retrograde, communication is paramount. Yet, Mercury's influence blurs lines and muddles signals, creating the potential for missteps in military coordination, where a single miscommunication could lead to unnecessary alarm, raising the stakes in an already tense environment. In military drills across the Sea of Japan, each signal, each exercise, becomes charged with greater importance. The need for seamless communication is no mere formality, it is a lifeline. And yet, Mercury's backward pull casts a veil over every exchange, as if each instruction must navigate unseen obstacles before reaching its destination. The whisper of retrograde stirs at the edges of understanding, threatening to complicate Japan and South Korea's unified stance. To counter Mercury's influence, strengthened protocols emerge as a beacon of stability. Each step of military exercises is checked and verified, reinforcing a sense of order against the looming chaos. Meanwhile, the United States, an ally to both, stands ready to mediate, its presence a stabilizing force in these precarious waters. Through collaborative briefings and shared resources, the three nations seek to maintain a consistent dialogue, forming an alliance as resilient as steel tempered in the forge of uncertainty. Across the seas, Mercury's retrograde drifts into the heart of Europe, where the European Union and the United Kingdom continue to navigate the aftermath of Brexit. In bustling customs offices and along trade routes from Dover to Calais, where goods once flowed freely, a new rhythm has emerged, shaped by post-Brexit policies. But under the retrograde's shadow, this rhythm is at risk, as trade terms blur and supply chains feel the strain of misinterpretation. Here, where every delay, every missed shipment reverberates across industries, Mercury's influence feels tangible, like a fog settling over the borders. The stakes extend beyond trade. They seep into the movement of people, with immigration and labor policies now more delicate than ever. Each border checkpoint, each immigration office becomes a crucible where policies and lives intersect, a place where clarity is essential and ambiguity costly. Mercury's retrograde, however, seems to revel in creating small cracks in this intricate system, leaving room for confusion to take root. In response, automated systems emerge as guardians of clarity. Each step of the customs process is tracked, each update transparent, reducing human error and ensuring that goods and information move smoothly despite the cosmic turbulence. Meanwhile, dedicated communication channels offer a steady stream of updates, creating a virtual bridge between the EU and the UK. Here, even amid retrograde's influence, consistency and clarity serve as pillars, guiding both sides through the labyrinthine policies of post-Brexit relations. As Mercury prepares to conclude its retrograde on December 15th, the world will wait to see if these countermeasures hold. With each cautious step taken by Japan, South Korea, the EU, and the UK, a lesson emerges. In times of uncertainty, even the smallest act of clarity, the faintest thread of understanding, can illuminate the way forward. And as the retrograde lifts, a renewed sense of purpose remains, urging each nation to continue refining their connections, fortified by the trials of this celestial passage. Yet the stars still turn, and the story they tell is ever unfolding. Stay with us, for the journey is far from over, and what awaits promises both challenge and wonder beyond imagination. As Mercury enters its retrograde in Sagittarius, the implications reverberate beyond borders, touching the very fabric of societies. In a world increasingly shaped by uncertainty, this cosmic shift amplifies the anxieties and insecurities that lie dormant within public consciousness. For countries gripped by conflict or economic unrest, places like Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, and Lebanon, the effects are especially potent. Here, Mercury's influence feels like a shadow passing over the land, casting doubt and confusion on government messages and stirring a collective unease. People feel the tremor of information disruptions, a whisper of doubt creeping into their hearts as clarity slips further away. Trust, that delicate thread binding people to their leaders, begins to fray, heightening the public's sense of vulnerability. In these trying times, the solution lies in transparency, a steady beacon in the fog of uncertainty. Governments, as custodians of stability, have a duty to communicate openly, keeping citizens informed of developments and delays with unwavering honesty. By illuminating the unknown, they can soften Mercury's chaotic influence, transforming public doubt into resilience. Additionally, mental health support becomes vital, particularly in communities scarred by conflict. Resources for emotional resilience offer solace, a reminder that even amid the celestial disturbances, there are ways to find strength. Meanwhile, in the world's financial centers, the bustling stock exchanges of the United States, European Union, Japan, China, and the emerging markets of South America, a different kind of uncertainty brews. Investors, with an ear tuned to the slightest disruption, feel the retrograde's impact in every hesitant step, every momentary pause. Communication delays and sudden shifts in trade policy ruffle the waters, leaving international markets on edge. The confidence that fuels investment begins to waver, replaced by an underlying sense of caution, as if Mercury's influence whispers, "Hold back, wait, and see." But even here, there are ways to weather the storm. Regular, clear economic updates can anchor the public's trust, a steady hand guiding investors through choppy seas. Governments that adopt flexible trade policies reassure the world of their adaptability, projecting resilience amid retrograde's turbulence. These small acts of stability can act as the counterbalance to Mercury's mischief, reminding investors that the foundations remain firm. Further east, in regions where military vigilance is a constant reality, such as North Korea, Japan, South Korea, and the conflict-touched Middle East, the stakes are high. Here, Mercury's retrograde feels like an invisible current that could sway the course of military operations with a single miscommunication. In places where precision and clarity are non-negotiable, the retrograde's shadow is a silent menace, threatening to blur lines and fray nerves, making each directive and every protocol a potential flashpoint. For these countries, reinforced military protocols become essential, ensuring that every command, every action is double-checked and verified. Communication flows must be as clear as polished glass, with layers of oversight that prevent errors from slipping through. On the civilian front, public education in emergency preparedness offers a balm, a sense of agency against the unknown. Knowing how to respond, what to do, provides reassurance, grounding the public in a sense of control even as Mercury toys with the threads of fate. As December 15th approaches and Mercury prepares to resume its forward motion, a sense of relief begins to dawn, like the first light after a long night. Yet the echoes of this retrograde linger, leaving nations, institutions, and people to reflect on the fragility of trust, the resilience of markets, and the importance of clarity. The trials faced under Mercury's influence reveal not only the vulnerabilities but the extraordinary capacities within us. This chapter may close, but the story continues, each new page promising deeper insights and unforeseen challenges. The cosmos urges us forward, inviting us to witness, to endure, and to find strength within the ever-turning wheel of the universe. Stay close, for what lies ahead is rich with mystery, resilience, and the untold wisdom of the stars. As Mercury embarks on its retrograde journey in Sagittarius, a unique opportunity emerges from the cosmos, a call to slow down, to pause, and to reconsider. In this time of celestial introspection, nations, leaders, and communities are invited to approach their actions and decisions with a reflective eye, as if holding each plan, each ambition, up to a mirror that reveals new perspectives. Mercury's influence whispers of wisdom and patience, of value in reconsidering goals and intentions, urging the world's diplomats and decision-makers to look beyond the immediate and toward the enduring. In the negotiation rooms of powerful nations and small states alike, diplomats feel the subtle tug of Mercury's retrograde, encouraging them to re-evaluate their strategies with care and intention. Here, they find value in gathering diverse voices, consulting cultural advisors, economic experts, and community leaders, before committing to any lasting agreement. By embracing these many perspectives, each piece of diplomacy becomes more than a transaction. It becomes a tapestry woven from the threads of shared understanding, cultural insight, and global vision. With this approach, Mercury's retrograde is not a hindrance but an invitation to bring diplomacy into alignment with both immediate needs and the long arc of history. For societies at large, Mercury's backward turn reminds them of the cyclicality of disruption, of the natural ebb and flow that influences every corner of life. Governments and community leaders can find strength in adopting a mindset that doesn't resist these periods but rather learns to navigate them with resilience and adaptability. In public speeches and community gatherings, officials have the opportunity to reframe delays and disruptions not as obstacles but as collective challenges that demand creativity and solidarity. By cultivating this adaptive approach, leaders inspire a sense of shared purpose, a recognition that society is at its strongest when it sees obstacles as opportunities for growth. Throughout this retrograde period in December 2024, an undercurrent of caution and mindfulness pulses through global affairs, reminding leaders, diplomats, and citizens alike of the importance of clear, empathic communication. Words take on an added weight, and transparency becomes more than a virtue. It is a shield against the misunderstandings that Mercury's retrograde often brings. In moments of confusion or uncertainty, a commitment to empathy, to seeing others not as adversaries but as collaborators, becomes essential. This period's influence calls for nothing less than cooperation, a unifying force that can transform moments of disruption into seeds of stability and understanding. And so, as Mercury prepares to resume its forward motion, it leaves behind a world transformed, not only by challenges faced, but by the wisdom gained through reflection, patience, and resilience. In these few weeks, global communities have found new strength in slowing down, in reconsidering, and in choosing unity over division. As the retrograde fades, a new chapter unfolds, filled with the echoes of this period's lessons, urging us to carry forward the spirit of cooperation and understanding. The cosmos has shown its hand, and as we look to the future, we are reminded that each challenge carries within it the seeds of growth, waiting only for the light of introspection to bring them to life. The journey is far from over. What lies ahead promises even deeper discovery, growth, and the unfolding mysteries of the universe. Mars retrograde in Leo, December 6, 2024. As Mars begins its retrograde in the fiery heart of Leo on December 6, 2024, a call to reconsider power and identity resounds across the globe. The warrior planet, now stepping back in introspection, casts a contemplative shadow on nations grappling with leadership challenges, national pride, and defense strategies. This period offers no simple path forward. Instead, it invites a reflective pause, one that holds the potential for leaders and countries to reshape their approach to power, authority, and self-image. For some, it is a time to recalibrate strength with humility, while others find space to explore diplomacy over aggression, setting the stage for a transformation guided by self-awareness and restraint. In the United States, where leadership has often worn the mantle of global authority, Mars in Leo retrograde signals a period of recalibration. Here, in the corridors of Washington, introspection may prompt American leaders to rethink international policies with fresh eyes. This retrograde pulls leaders inward, urging them to reconsider their diplomatic posture in regions like the Middle East and Asia. The political stage may quiet, tactics may soften, and for a moment, Mars energy urges leaders to reflect on the true meaning of power. For a nation often at the helm of global influence, the shift feels profound, almost seismic, as if Mars itself were guiding the nation toward a more thoughtful approach to its leadership role. In China, a nation where central governance stands tall and firm, Mars retrograde brings a rare invitation to reflect on the country's image and influence. With the ongoing complexities surrounding Taiwan and other territorial disputes, the celestial energy nudges Chinese leaders to reconsider aggressive posturing and the very foundations of their authority. This shift isn't merely strategic, it's a moment of internal reckoning, an opportunity for China to reflect on its place on the world stage and to contemplate how strength might be demonstrated through tempered, mindful governance. Across the sea, in the United Kingdom, Mars retrograde gaze stirs within a country still navigating the ripples of Brexit and recent leadership shifts. Here, the energy of introspection invites British leaders to re-examine power structures, especially in terms of relationships with Europe. Mars urges reflection on authority itself, its reach, its limits, and its responsibility, inviting leaders to rebuild trust, forge collaboration, and temper leadership with transparency. In a time of shifting political landscapes, this retrograde offers the UK an opportunity to redefine its identity with respect to both national pride and continental partnership. As Mars continues its reflective journey, the realm of military strategy and defense also feels its influence. In Russia and Ukraine, where conflict remains a daily reality, Mars retrograde could introduce an unusual stillness, a moment to pause, recalibrate, and potentially consider diplomatic avenues. For nations so accustomed to the rhythm of defense, this period may present an unexpected chance for dialogue, for a re-evaluation of the path forward. Leaders may find themselves pulled toward diplomacy, even if only temporarily, opening the door to dialogue that has long felt out of reach. In the Middle East, between Israel and Palestine, Mars retrograde might offer a brief but crucial pause, a moment to reconsider tactics, rethink strategies, and perhaps entertain peace. Territorial tensions and deeply rooted grievances make every movement a delicate one, but under Mars retrograde influence, there is space for leaders to seek counsel from international mediators and approach conflict with a spirit of introspection. The energy encourages caution, urging leaders to prioritize diplomacy over force, and perhaps see the humanity on both sides of the divide. Similarly, in India and Pakistan, where border tensions simmer like a fire kept just below boiling, Mars' backward motion invites a pause, a cooling moment that may offer a temporary reprieve. In the icy valleys of Kashmir, where sovereignty is contested and military presence constant, this retrograde might allow for diplomatic openings, a chance for leaders to engage in discussions beyond the battlefield. Here, the energy of Mars in Leo encourages a shift, however brief, from confrontation to conversation, allowing both nations to breathe in a moment of peace, however fragile. In each of these regions, diplomatic bodies and mediators, particularly from the United Nations, could take advantage of Mars' reflective stance, advancing peace talks and fostering dialogue that respects each country's sovereignty and the well-being of its people. Mars in Leo retrograde, while traditionally a symbol of internalized strength, reveals itself as a bridge to cooperation and mutual respect in these times of tension. As Mars completes its retrograde journey, nations and leaders will emerge with a renewed understanding of power, one tempered by introspection, recalibrated by empathy, and strengthened by the pursuit of peace. This cosmic pause will leave its mark on the world, a reminder that strength lies not only in force but in the courage to reflect, to reconsider, and to strive for unity over division. And as the warrior planet resumes its forward march, it leaves behind a world that is not only wiser but more attuned to the true potential of leadership rooted in both power and compassion. The path forward is clear, yet the journey remains ever more compelling, awaiting the next turn in the cosmic dance. As Mars retrogrades in the fiery sign of Leo, beginning December 6, 2024, a new era of introspection dawns for countries with a deep connection to national pride, cultural heritage, and identity. The energy of Mars, softened by Leo's reflective glow, invites leaders and citizens alike to look within, to contemplate the stories they tell the world and the values they hold dear. It's a cosmic moment of pause, a time when nations can question the very essence of their identity, honor their traditions, and consider how to weave inclusivity and progress into their national narrative. In El Salvador, where recent reforms have reshaped the landscape of national pride, Mars retrograde brings a moment of deep contemplation. Here, sovereignty, democracy, and innovation converge, forming the core of a new identity. Yet this retrograde period nudges Salvadoran leaders and citizens to question the image they project internationally, to consider how these progressive ideals align with the country's deeper sense of self. This pause invites reflection on how El Salvador might balance modern aspirations with its rich cultural roots, cultivating a global presence that honors both tradition and the future. The spirit of Mars in Leo encourages dialogues about what it truly means to be Salvadoran in a world that is watching closely, with an eye toward issues of social justice, community, and authenticity. Meanwhile, in France, a land of historic pride and cultural wealth, Mars retrograde in Leo stirs a fresh wave of discourse around identity, heritage, and inclusion. France, with its deep-rooted sense of cultural legacy, now stands at a crossroads, with growing conversations about immigration and multiculturalism shaping the narrative. The retrograde invites the French public to reflect on the meaning of Frenchness in a modern world, how to harmonize the old with the new, how to integrate diverse cultural perspectives while remaining true to its storied traditions. In bustling cafes and grand assemblies, the question lingers: can France become a beacon of inclusive national pride, one that cherishes tradition while embracing the many voices that now call it home? Under Mars's introspective influence, France has the chance to modernize its identity while honoring the legacy that has long defined it. Farther south, in Brazil, Mars retrograde brings the spotlight to issues of environmental stewardship and indigenous rights, themes that lie at the heart of the nation's identity. With the Amazon's vast expanse serving as both a national treasure and a global responsibility, Brazil's leadership finds itself in a time of soul-searching. The retrograde encourages the nation to reflect on its values around environmentalism, asking what it means to be a guardian of the Earth's lungs. The Brazilian public, deeply connected to the land and its heritage, may engage in spirited debate, discussing how to align national pride with a commitment to conservation and the protection of indigenous communities. Here, Mars in Leo does not call for bold action but for a thoughtful reconnection to the values that underpin Brazil's global image, a chance to reimagine national pride as a force for ecological and social progress. For these countries, the energy of Mars retrograde offers a powerful tool: the ability to foster public debates that are open, inclusive, and reflective of a diversity of voices. In El Salvador, France, and Brazil, this period invites not only a reckoning with heritage but also a celebration of the dynamism that can shape their future. By embracing cultural dialogues that honor tradition alongside progressive ideals, these nations can refresh their global presence, defining their identity with both pride and openness. In each of these countries, Mars in Leo retrograde serves as a mirror, reflecting both strengths and vulnerabilities, while illuminating paths for growth. By aligning this cosmic energy with socio-political realities, these nations have the opportunity to cultivate resilience, to navigate challenges thoughtfully, and to engage with the world from a place of deep-rooted integrity. When the retrograde ends, a refined sense of national pride and purpose will remain, one shaped by introspection and resilience. As the stars align once more, the journey continues, promising a future rich with both tradition and transformation, a testament to the enduring spirit of each nation. The cosmos calls us forward, urging us to carry the lessons of this retrograde with us as we embrace the challenges and promises of what lies ahead. Venus enters Aquarius on December 7, 2024. As Venus enters the realm of Aquarius on December 7, 2024, the air hums with a new energy, one brimming with independence, innovation, and the call for global transformation. Venus, planet of harmony and diplomacy, melds with Aquarius's drive for progress, creating a cosmic alignment that reverberates through the spheres of finance, technology, social justice, and diplomacy. Under this Aquarian influence, the world leans forward, inspired to break free from convention, forge humanitarian alliances, and embrace the unconventional paths that lead to a brighter, more inclusive future. In the financial and technological arenas, Venus in Aquarius brings a spark of pioneering energy to countries that thrive on digital innovation. The United States, South Korea, Singapore, El Salvador, and the European Union find themselves on the edge of a breakthrough as digital currencies, blockchain technology, and fintech innovations gain momentum. South Korea and Singapore, with their advanced fintech landscapes, may introduce progressive digital currency policies or experimental trade systems that redefine financial accessibility. Meanwhile, El Salvador, already recognized for embracing digital finance, may explore new ways to foster financial inclusivity for its citizens. Aquarius's humanitarian ideals permeate these developments, underscoring the transformative potential of digital finance to unite, empower, and include. To ensure these innovations fulfill their potential, nations must balance progress with responsibility. By strengthening regulatory frameworks and expanding digital financial access, governments can cultivate trust, bridging the gap between innovation and inclusivity. As Venus in Aquarius inspires this technological renaissance, countries are encouraged to address concerns about privacy and economic inequality, building a foundation where finance serves the many, not the few. In the realm of diplomacy, the United States, Canada, Norway, and the United Kingdom feel the pull of Aquarius's humanitarian spirit, shifting alliances toward shared values over traditional alliances. As global leaders navigate a world increasingly shaped by issues of human rights, climate action, and social equality, Venus in Aquarius supports the rise of coalitions bound by mutual ideals rather than geography. Countries committed to socially conscious governance may seek new partnerships, aligning with allies who prioritize environmental protection, human dignity, and shared progress. These value-based alliances echo the spirit of the age, transcending borders and fostering global unity in ways unseen before. To anchor these alliances in lasting impact, multilateral platforms like the United Nations or the European Union offer vital avenues for cooperative efforts. By amplifying humanitarian initiatives and advocating for transparency, these alliances can embody the highest ideals of Aquarius, fostering a world where diplomacy elevates society and honors human rights. Under Venus in Aquarius, social movements find fertile ground, especially in countries like the United States, Brazil, India, and European Union nations. As the energy of Aquarius supports advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights, gender equality, and non-traditional relationships, societies are encouraged to question rigid norms and embrace a more inclusive vision of identity. In the United States, grassroots movements may call for policy changes in marriage equality, healthcare access for transgender individuals, and greater workplace inclusivity. Meanwhile, in Brazil, the energy may fuel activism for indigenous rights, gender equality, and diversity, sparking meaningful dialogue around the evolving concept of identity. Governments have the chance to harness this energy by adopting inclusive frameworks that protect minority rights and promote education on social inclusivity. Addressing systemic bias and fostering cultural awareness are pathways to evolving social harmony, ensuring that Venus in Aquarius not only inspires social change but paves the way for tangible progress in the fight for equality. In regions where tensions run high, such as Russia, Ukraine, Israel, and parts of the Middle East, Venus in Aquarius brings a paradox of autonomy and peace. While Aquarius urges independence and self-determination, it also favors humanitarian approaches, encouraging countries to balance sovereignty with a commitment to conflict resolution. Leaders in these nations may feel compelled to reassert their values, yet Venus in Aquarius also highlights the collective cost of prolonged discord. This period offers an opportunity for nations to engage in diplomatic negotiations, focusing on humanitarian aid, ceasefire agreements, and long-term peace strategies. By prioritizing humanitarian diplomacy, these countries can find common ground, recognizing that the pursuit of sovereignty need not come at the cost of peace. Emphasizing dialogue over division, Venus in Aquarius calls for alliances that honor the well-being of all involved, fostering resilience through collaboration. Amid shifting global dynamics, economic disruption looms large, especially in powerhouses like China, the United States, and Germany. Venus in Aquarius disrupts traditional economic models, prompting nations to seek more flexible and decentralized systems. As the United States and China consider alternative trade partnerships, this period pushes for adaptability in the face of economic change. Germany, with its innovation-driven economy, may explore sustainable practices and small business support as a means of reinforcing community empowerment. To navigate this transformative period, countries are encouraged to embrace economic diversity, reducing reliance on single markets and supporting local industries that promote fair trade and economic resilience. Venus in Aquarius brings a forward-thinking perspective, encouraging nations to prioritize policies that uplift communities and foster transparency in economic practices. As Venus's journey through Aquarius unfolds, it marks a time of progressive transformation. Nations touched by Aquarius's influence find themselves propelled toward innovation, humanitarianism, and a commitment to values-based diplomacy. Whether through digital finance, inclusive alliances, or social movements that champion equality, Venus in Aquarius invites us to redefine what it means to be connected in a global community. As we move forward, embracing the ideals of Aquarius promises a world where diplomacy, technology, and social justice intertwine, creating societies that honor human dignity, champion technological advancement, and foster sustainable progress. This cosmic passage is more than a transit, it is a call to action, urging the world to look to the future with open hearts, bold ideas, and a spirit of collaboration that transcends tradition. As Venus moves onward, the seeds of change sown during this time will continue to grow, nurturing a world more attuned to the values of unity, innovation, and equality. And as the stars continue their dance, the journey promises new horizons, each step shaped by the shared dreams and boundless hope that Venus in Aquarius inspires. Neptune goes direct in Pisces on December 7, 2024. As Neptune resumes its direct motion in the mystical sign of Pisces on December 7, 2024, a wave of compassion, idealism, and collective consciousness sweeps over the globe, illuminating paths toward deeper understanding and unity. Neptune, planet of dreams and intuition, emerges from its retrograde slumber with renewed vigor, encouraging nations and leaders to look beyond the tangible, to connect with the spiritual and humanitarian principles that bind humanity together. This moment is a call to address social welfare, uplift the marginalized, and redefine cultural and ideological landscapes with empathy and vision. In the United States and Canada, where conversations around mental health have gained ground, Neptune in Pisces brings a gentle yet profound push toward compassionate reform. Leaders may feel inspired to expand resources for mental health programs, addiction recovery, and accessible healthcare, recognizing that true progress lies in caring for the most vulnerable. As these countries embrace Neptune's influence, there is an opportunity to build robust social support systems that honor each individual's unique struggles, fostering a culture of healing. By investing in inclusive mental health policies, they align with the energy of Neptune, which whispers of unity, empathy, and the power of collective support. In India and Nepal, countries deeply intertwined with spiritual heritage, Neptune's direct motion rekindles a reverence for traditional healing practices and philosophies. As modernity and spirituality continue to intersect, these nations may explore ways to integrate holistic mental health practices, offering the public greater access to spiritual and wellness resources. This transit encourages a blending of the ancient and the contemporary, reminding these nations of the wisdom inherent in their roots and the potential for spiritual guidance to enrich public life. Leaders in these countries might be drawn to policies that support wellness and spiritual growth, balancing technological progress with timeless wisdom. In El Salvador, a nation already engaged in reforms focused on innovation and social justice, Neptune's forward motion sparks renewed energy around social welfare. Citizens and leaders alike may feel a collective pull toward addressing issues of poverty, homelessness, and social equality. This is a time for El Salvador to deepen its commitment to compassionate governance, fostering public engagement in social programs that champion dignity and inclusivity. By aligning with Neptune's call for empathy-driven leadership, El Salvador can emerge as a model for progressive, community-centered development. Neptune's influence also breathes life into the arts, inspiring countries to revisit and celebrate their cultural heritage. In France and Italy, two nations with storied artistic legacies, Neptune direct may lead to a renaissance in public art, cultural festivals, and exhibitions that honor both traditional and contemporary forms. Museums may see new exhibits, streets may come alive with public art, and festivals may celebrate the richness of national heritage, sparking pride and reverence for cultural history. This artistic revival isn't merely about nostalgia, it's an invitation to blend the old with the new, fostering a dynamic cultural identity that speaks to the past while embracing the future. In Japan, a land where tradition and modernity coexist in harmony, Neptune in Pisces supports a fusion of cultural celebration, blending ancient Japanese arts with contemporary, global expressions. Festivals celebrating both tea ceremonies and avant-garde performances may emerge, inviting people to experience Japan's heritage through a modern lens. Neptune's influence encourages Japan to celebrate its uniqueness while connecting with global art movements, fostering a cultural landscape that is inclusive, innovative, and deeply rooted. Across the Pacific in Mexico and Brazil, Neptune's direct motion highlights the power of indigenous art and folklore, urging governments to support initiatives that honor these rich traditions. Public funding for indigenous art showcases and community festivals may invigorate cultural pride, uniting citizens under a shared respect for their heritage. Neptune's energy here encourages not only artistic expression but also social cohesion, reminding these nations of the beauty found in cultural diversity and the power of art to bridge divides. As Neptune moves forward, it casts a contemplative light on ideologies, prompting nations to reevaluate collective beliefs and governance ethics. In Russia and Ukraine, where tensions persist, this transit offers a moment for introspection, a chance for leaders to reassess ideological stances and consider the humanitarian dimensions of their decisions. The emphasis on transparency and truth could foster diplomatic conversations that prioritize human rights, accuracy in information, and a shared commitment to peace. Neptune in Pisces gently encourages these nations to look beyond power struggles, urging them toward understanding and reconciliation. Meanwhile, in China and Taiwan, the desire for autonomy and identity grows in the public consciousness. Neptune's influence may shift tensions toward diplomacy, encouraging discourse on nationalism, transparency, and the balance between sovereignty and global harmony. This period invites both nations to engage with one another from a place of respect and truth, exploring ways to honor distinct identities while embracing peaceful coexistence. In the United Kingdom and Australia, Neptune in Pisces amplifies public demand for environmental responsibility, highlighting the need for transparent, accountable policies that address climate change. Grassroots movements may call for stronger environmental protections, urging leaders to align national policies with global sustainability goals. This transit encourages a sense of ethical duty, reminding leaders that the health of the Earth is deeply connected to the well-being of future generations. Through each of these influences, Neptune's transit reveals the potential for collective healing, empathy-driven leadership, and a renaissance of cultural pride. Nations touched by Neptune's energy have the chance to revisit and realign their values, fostering policies that uplift, unite, and honor the shared human experience. By embracing Neptune's call for compassion and spiritual insight, these countries are not only addressing their own challenges but also contributing to a world where unity, creativity, and empathy thrive. As Neptune continues its celestial journey, it leaves behind a reminder that beneath every policy, every movement, and every alliance, there lies the enduring power of compassion, imagination, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. The road ahead is one of discovery, a path toward a future shaped by understanding, creativity, and the timeless wisdom of the heart. The journey is far from over. Neptune's call for unity and healing will echo, guiding us forward with hope, vision, and an unwavering belief in a world that honors the beauty of our shared humanity. Mars square Jupiter from December 8 to 10, 2024. As December 8, 10, 2024, dawns, the cosmic stage is set for a powerful transit, Mars square Jupiter, a fiery clash of action against ideology, ambition fueled by expansion. This planetary alignment releases an assertive, almost zealous energy that stirs nations and leaders into overdrive, sparking bold moves on the global stage. Mars, embodying action and aggression, meets Jupiter's expansive spirit, igniting ambitions that border on impulsive and, at times, dangerously overconfident. The world holds its breath, bracing for the political waves this aspect brings as leaders feel the urge to assert dominance, to solidify boundaries, and to champion nationalistic ideals. In China, where sovereignty and territorial integrity are pillars of national policy, the Mars square Jupiter transit resonates strongly, amplifying nationalist rhetoric. Here, in a nation that watches over contested waters and territories with vigilant pride, Mars stirs the pot, encouraging bold assertions over regions like the South China Sea and Taiwan. Military exercises, tactical displays, and authoritative declarations seem imminent, as if the country is reminded of its place on the world stage and compelled to defend it. Citizens and leaders alike feel a collective urge to rally behind these actions, buoyed by a sense of unity and protective instinct, reflecting the psychological pull of Mars and Jupiter to defend and expand. In Russia, the energy of Mars square Jupiter emboldens leadership to double down on sovereignty, particularly near its contested borders. As the aspect intensifies, Russia's rhetoric around national defense and regional authority grows, sending a clear message of resolve. The Eastern European borderlands, already fraught with tension, may see heightened maneuvers, subtle yet significant actions intended to signal strength. This transit stirs a fierce national pride, a psychological rallying cry that unites leaders and citizens under a banner of protection and strength, pushing forward with a sense of destiny and determination. Sociologically, Mars square Jupiter fans the flames of collective identity, amplifying pride, cohesion, and an unwavering stance on national security. Across nations, a swell of assertive energy rises, as people feel compelled to align with assertive displays of strength and authority, reflecting both fear and confidence in their leaders' bold actions. This transit doesn't just amplify political rhetoric, it ignites a fierce solidarity that can bind citizens together or drive a wedge between nations. Amid this charged atmosphere, military displays become the language of diplomacy, with nations across the globe preparing to showcase their might. In the United States, where global presence and defense remain paramount, the influence of Mars square Jupiter fuels a readiness to project strength. Legislative actions might soon follow, with debates and decisions around defense budgets and military resources gaining momentum. For the U.S., this transit serves as both a reminder of responsibility and a prompt for vigilance, a period where strategy and strength blend to reinforce its global standing. In the Middle East, Mars and Jupiter cast their intense light on the ongoing tensions between Israel and Iran. This transit may urge both sides to engage in tactical displays or defensive posturing, an unspoken dialogue of resilience and defiance. Each maneuver, each exercise, reflects a deep-seated need to project authority, to stand firm in the face of uncertainty. Here, the psychological weight of Mars square Jupiter fuels a sense of duty to uphold national values, even as each step risks escalation. For the public, the Mars-Jupiter square brings a surge of support for defense policies, particularly in nations where security looms large in the collective psyche. Leaders may feel emboldened by their citizens' trust, though this transit also amplifies the risks associated with overconfidence. The psychological and sociological currents stirred by Mars square Jupiter are potent, encouraging leaders and citizens alike to take risks in the name of protection and pride. Yet, within this charged atmosphere, there remains an opportunity for resolution, a chance to harness the Mars-Jupiter energy constructively. Diplomatic channels, emphasizing patience and measured dialogue, could temper the impulsive drive of Mars and the expansive ambition of Jupiter. By leaning into conversations that prioritize understanding over aggression, leaders may avoid the pitfalls of overreaction and misunderstanding. As the Mars square Jupiter transit sweeps across the globe from December 8-10, 2024, it infuses the world with an assertive energy that is both potent and challenging. Mars, the planet of action and aggression, collides with Jupiter's expansive and ideological nature, pushing nations into a delicate balance between ambition and caution. The stage is set for bold actions and potential economic shifts, with countries navigating the thin line between assertiveness and volatility. While this transit threatens to unsettle markets and border tensions, it also opens doors for strategic alliances and careful diplomacy. Leaders who channel this energy constructively can turn potential conflicts into opportunities for stability, even as they face the influence of Mars's fiery drive and Jupiter's expansive vision. In the economic realm, the Mars-Jupiter square raises concerns over foreign investment stability, particularly in regions where political and territorial tensions are high. For the European Union, where economic unity balances on complex relationships, this transit could cast a shadow over investor confidence, especially if defensive postures or border tensions intensify. Nations with weaker economies, such as Greece and Italy, might feel the weight of this aspect most acutely, facing financial strain as investor caution grows. The impact of assertive policies or defense maneuvers could ripple through the EU's financial markets, leading to calls for conservative fiscal policies that reassure investors of long-term stability. Meanwhile, in Brazil, a country with a history of political fluctuations, the assertive energy of Mars square Jupiter may add volatility to its financial landscape. Aggressive rhetoric or geopolitical moves from other nations might prompt foreign investors to pull back, wary of potential economic disruptions. The psychological and sociological influence of this transit is clear. As investors and citizens sense the tension, calls for economic discipline grow louder. Leaders are urged to maintain steady communication, emphasizing resilience to foster confidence in both domestic and foreign markets. Amid these economic tensions, the Mars-Jupiter square also heightens the risk of border conflicts and military skirmishes, especially in regions already marked by historical disputes. In Kashmir, where the borders between India and Pakistan are continually contested, Mars square Jupiter intensifies the likelihood of escalated military exercises or symbolic displays of power. This transit stirs national pride, urging each side to assert control, but also emphasizes the need for diplomatic channels that prioritize humanitarian concerns. Preemptive diplomatic interventions and thoughtful negotiations may prevent reactionary impulses from fueling further conflict, offering a chance to channel this energy toward peace rather than escalation. Similarly, the volatile relationship between Israel and Gaza may feel the effects of this transit, as the assertive energy heightens defense posturing and the potential for military operations. Mars square Jupiter pushes both sides to reinforce their stances, but it also provides an opportunity to recognize the consequences of unchecked aggression. Leaders on both sides are called to exercise restraint, acknowledging the sociological impact of divisive rhetoric on collective resilience. Diplomatic strategies rooted in caution and mutual respect could help to temper the tension, emphasizing measured responses over impulsive action. In this charged atmosphere, Mars and Jupiter also encourage the formation of strategic alliances based on mutual security and ideological alignment. For Turkey, a country straddling Europe and the Middle East, the transit brings a strategic opportunity to bolster its regional influence. Positioned at a crossroads of cultures and politics, Turkey may seek new alliances that enhance its standing, strengthening partnerships that reflect both national interests and regional security. This assertive diplomatic stance could set the stage for Turkey's role as a key mediator, fostering coalitions that balance power with diplomacy. In East Asia, the Mars-Jupiter energy encourages South Korea and Japan to deepen their collaboration in the face of regional security challenges. As both countries navigate complex dynamics with neighboring nations, this transit inspires a sense of unity, prompting joint military exercises and strategic partnerships. By working together, South Korea and Japan demonstrate the power of alliances built on shared values and mutual security. This alignment is a testament to the constructive side of Mars square Jupiter, where proactive energy can fortify diplomatic ties and create lasting regional stability. The Mars square Jupiter transit of December 8-10, 2024, thus brings both challenges and opportunities. Leaders who prioritize diplomatic dialogue over aggression can channel Mars's bold energy into problem-solving, addressing long-standing conflicts with a balanced approach. Public messaging that emphasizes stability and resilience can calm investor fears, maintaining economic confidence amid uncertainty. Strategic alliances, fostered with a focus on mutual respect and shared objectives, can transform Mars's assertiveness into a stabilizing force. In a world feeling the weight of this potent transit, psychological preparedness becomes key. Leaders who recognize the potential for impulsive action can counteract it with patience and strategic vision, understanding that measured decisions made during this period will set the foundation for stability in the months to come. As Mars square Jupiter's influence unfolds, the world has the chance to transform assertive energy into a force for resilience and cooperation, creating a more stable global landscape in the face of celestial challenges. The path forward calls for caution and clarity, yet it also promises the potential for structured, resilient outcomes that emerge from thoughtful action and a shared commitment to peace. As the Mars square Jupiter transit fades, the world will emerge from this period with a sharpened sense of identity, a reaffirmed dedication to sovereignty, and, perhaps, a clearer understanding of the balance between strength and diplomacy. This cosmic clash serves as a reminder that true power lies not just in bold action, but in the wisdom to temper ambition with restraint. And as the stars continue their journey, the lessons of this transit will echo, urging nations to balance pride with prudence, passion with patience, as they navigate the road ahead. The story is far from over, and the next chapter promises both challenge and insight, guided by the celestial forces that shape our shared destiny. Sun conjunct Mars on December 8, 2024. On December 8, 2024, the Sun conjunct Mars ignites a potent energy across the world, infusing political and social landscapes with an undeniable force. The Sun, symbolizing authority, leadership, and identity, meets Mars, planet of drive, aggression, and action, catalyzing an atmosphere ripe for ambition and direct action. Leaders feel emboldened, people feel empowered, and movements across borders take on a bolder, more assertive tone. This alignment doesn't pass quietly, it calls forth a collective spirit to act, challenge, and assert. The air is charged with a sense of urgency, as if the world itself is on the cusp of transformation. Public movements and protests are likely to surge, as the energy of the Sun-Mars conjunction emboldens individuals and communities to stand up for what they believe in. In the United States and France, countries with a history of passionate civic activism, this transit amplifies the voice of the people. Public demonstrations may rise, particularly around economic and social issues, as citizens rally to demand change. There's a palpable sense of unity as people come together, driven by a shared urgency and a sense that their voices must be heard. Meanwhile, in Iran, this alignment could catalyze powerful demonstrations around human rights and political reform, though the intensity of Mars's influence suggests potential government crackdowns. Sociologically, the Sun-Mars conjunction fosters solidarity around shared grievances, creating a collective movement that refuses to be ignored. Psychologically, this aspect reflects heightened sensitivity to perceived injustices, fueling a willingness to take risks for the sake of change. The key to constructive resolution lies in responsive governance. Leaders who listen, adapt, and address the concerns of their citizens can channel this assertive energy into productive outcomes, potentially diffusing confrontations before they escalate. On the global stage, the Sun and Mars's alignment raises the potential for military aggression and territorial assertions, as nations respond to this powerful transit with bold and sometimes uncompromising actions. In Russia and Ukraine, tensions in contested territories could heighten, with the influence of Mars stirring military posturing and assertive maneuvers. This energy is mirrored in India and Pakistan, where both nations may adopt a firmer stance on border disputes in Kashmir, prioritizing national sovereignty and a show of strength. This period reflects a collective urge to protect national boundaries, to claim and defend what is perceived as rightfully one's own. Diplomatic dialogue and third-party mediation become essential here. The sociological drive for national pride, coupled with a psychological us versus them mentality, can amplify divisions if left unchecked. By engaging in dialogues that prioritize stability and cooperation, leaders can mitigate impulsive actions, balancing Mars's assertiveness with the wisdom of careful diplomacy. The Sun conjunct Mars also raises the specter of political retaliation and military displays, as countries reinforce their stances with visible demonstrations of power. In the complex and sensitive relationship between China and Taiwan, this transit could inspire intensified rhetoric and military exercises intended to solidify territorial claims. Allies may respond in kind, heightening the risk of broader involvement. Similarly, on the Korean Peninsula, North and South Korea may engage in displays of military capability, each side demonstrating resolve in the face of perceived threats. The alignment of Mars with the Sun encourages nations to project strength, creating a tense atmosphere where the psychological need to assert one's place feels paramount. This transit invites leaders to shift from confrontation to confidence-building measures, recognizing that a cooperative approach to security concerns can be more effective than aggressive displays. By promoting security assurances and open communication, leaders can counter the fear and instability that often accompany such intense alignments, transforming the us versus them mindset into a shared commitment to peace. As the Sun-Mars conjunction unfolds, the world faces a crossroads. Leaders, activists, and citizens are charged with powerful energy, a momentum that can either forge new paths or exacerbate divisions. Constructive strategies are vital. Diplomatic dialogue, confident yet measured leadership, and responsiveness to public demands can turn this assertive energy into a stabilizing force. This conjunction challenges the world to act with clarity, intention, and an eye toward long-term stability. As the Sun aligns with Mars on December 8, 2024, the world feels the weight of intensified energy that reverberates through both political and economic spheres. This potent conjunction sparks a spirit of ambition and direct action, but it also casts a shadow of volatility across global markets, creating ripples of uncertainty that can shake investor confidence and destabilize economic landscapes. With Mars stirring assertiveness and the Sun representing authority, this alignment heightens the geopolitical stakes and tests the economic resilience of nations as they respond to the perceived risks of the day. The European Union, an economic powerhouse with diverse national interests, may feel the effects of rising geopolitical tensions in the form of market fluctuations. As leaders potentially increase defense spending to address national and regional security concerns, the strain could be especially challenging for economies on the periphery, like Greece and Italy. Here, even subtle shifts in investor confidence could create an outsized impact, causing market instability that trickles down to everyday citizens. This transit calls for economic stability measures that can temper investor anxiety, promoting trust through clear, steady communication from financial leaders. In Brazil, a country already sensitive to political and economic volatility, this transit may increase the risk of foreign investment outflows. Rising geopolitical tensions and assertive political rhetoric can be perceived as signs of instability, causing investors to hesitate or withdraw. For Brazil, maintaining foreign investor confidence is crucial, and leaders will need to navigate this period with diplomacy and economic prudence. By promoting policies that demonstrate resilience and long-term stability, Brazilian leaders can counterbalance the assertive energy of Mars and the Sun, reassuring both citizens and international partners of Brazil's commitment to economic strength. Sociologically, this alignment may amplify nationalist priorities, encouraging nations to adopt economic policies that emphasize self-reliance and domestic resilience. The psychological drive of Mars and the Sun compels leaders to strengthen their nation's standing, but the risk lies in alienating foreign investment if assertive rhetoric tips into perceived instability. Leaders can counter this by prioritizing transparent, calming communication, ensuring that market concerns are met with clear signals of stability and economic foresight. To harness this intense energy constructively, nations can take a proactive approach, focusing on strategies that channel public and political assertiveness into constructive outcomes. One avenue for resolution is through channeling public passion into constructive dialogue. With people feeling emboldened to express their concerns, governments have an opportunity to open channels for meaningful conversation, creating forums where public needs are acknowledged and addressed. By engaging with citizens in a direct, transparent manner, leaders can redirect the Sun-Mars energy away from potential conflict and toward collaborative solutions that reinforce social unity and responsiveness. Another critical approach is promoting diplomatic solutions in tense border regions. In areas prone to territorial disputes, this period's assertive energy could either escalate tensions or inspire a commitment to dialogue. Diplomatic leaders can leverage the intensity of the Sun-Mars aspect to advocate for mediation and peace agreements, turning what could be a confrontational force into a constructive movement toward long-term stability. By involving impartial mediators or reinforcing existing peace frameworks, nations can make a statement of strength rooted not in aggression but in their commitment to resolution. In the economic arena, implementing stabilization measures and clear communication will be key to maintaining market confidence. Governments can ease investor concerns by enacting policies that emphasize economic stability and resilience, particularly in regions sensitive to foreign investment shifts. Transparent messages from economic leaders, highlighting a commitment to responsible fiscal policies and a balanced approach, can reassure both domestic and international stakeholders. This stabilizing influence can prevent potential economic fallout from escalating geopolitical tensions, protecting nations from the long-term effects of this powerful transit. The Sun conjunct Mars brings both intensity and opportunity, a chance for leaders to harness assertiveness for positive action. Through proactive, diplomatic, and economically stabilizing approaches, nations can transform this potentially volatile alignment into a constructive force for progress, reinforcing both national pride and global stability. By balancing Mars's drive with the Sun's authority, leaders can guide their nations through this period with clarity and vision, ultimately setting a course that aligns ambition with the greater good. As the Sun and Mars move forward, the actions taken during this conjunction will leave their mark, shaping global dynamics and economic outlooks in ways that resonate beyond borders. This alignment is a powerful reminder that strength, when tempered by wisdom, can guide nations through even the most challenging of times, forging a future built on stability, cooperation, and resilience. With each bold action taken under this transit, the stage is set for lasting impact. The path forward is steeped in ambition and the power to shape the future. Leaders who heed the call for measured strength, who recognize that authority lies as much in restraint as in assertion, will guide their nations through this potent period with vision and resilience. As the Sun and Mars continue their journey, the legacy of this alignment will remain, a testament to the transformative power of assertion balanced by wisdom. The world watches, waits, and braces for the next chapter, knowing that the choices made now will echo across borders and generations. New Moon in Sagittarius on December 1, 2024. As the new moon in Sagittarius rises on December 1, 2024, it brings with it a surge of optimism, a vision for expansive growth, and an opportunity to address pressing global challenges. Sagittarius, known for its adventurous spirit and love for knowledge, infuses this lunar phase with an energy that beckons nations to explore new paths in diplomacy, trade, and humanitarian efforts. This is a moment ripe for fostering unity and cooperation, as countries look to bridge divides and confront collective issues such as climate change, migration, and international relations. The world is invited to approach these challenges with adaptability, compassion, and a commitment to building a shared future. Under this new moon, international relations are primed for expansion and constructive engagement. The United States, China, Russia, the European Union, and developing nations impacted by global trade policies find themselves drawn to the Sagittarian ideals of transparency and shared purpose. For countries like the US and China, often positioned as rivals, this transit offers a chance to find common ground, perhaps in the realms of environmental protection or global health security. Sagittarius encourages these nations to transcend immediate interests and consider the broader, long-term impact of their actions on the global community. To fully harness this energy, encouraging transparency in diplomatic negotiations becomes essential. By openly communicating the intentions and goals of international agreements, leaders can build public trust, reducing anxiety and fostering a sense of unity around shared objectives. Transparency allows citizens to see beyond the surface, cultivating a belief in diplomacy as a tool for global harmony. Furthermore, highlighting shared humanitarian goals in public discourse can bridge cultural divides, creating opportunities for cultural exchange programs that allow people from different nations to connect and understand each other. Through these exchanges, the Sagittarian new moon inspires empathy, weaving a fabric of global solidarity that transcends borders. In the areas of trade, travel, and migration, this new moon's Sagittarian influence is likely to inspire forward-thinking policy shifts, particularly in countries deeply affected by migration and mobility. The United States, the European Union, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and parts of Latin America face pressing questions about how best to navigate migration flows in a way that honors both humanitarian ideals and national security. The spirit of Sagittarius, which governs exploration and movement, encourages these nations to reimagine immigration policies, placing emphasis on legal routes and humanitarian protections. For nations facing significant migration pressures, such as Greece, Turkey, and the United States, a focus on human-centered migration policies can foster a more compassionate approach. Policies that prioritize family reunification, support for integration, and protections for climate migrants create pathways that respect the dignity and humanity of those seeking refuge. By aligning migration policies with Sagittarian values of inclusivity and justice, countries can respond to migration with compassion, recognizing the shared responsibility of protecting those displaced by hardship. Cultural and economic education programs also serve as powerful tools during this transit, especially in nations experiencing a surge in migration. Campaigns that promote cultural diversity and dispel harmful stereotypes can help citizens recognize the economic and social contributions of migrants. These programs can frame migration as a positive force, enhancing communities with fresh perspectives, skills, and cultural richness. In the Sagittarian spirit, this educational approach fosters curiosity and acceptance, encouraging citizens to view migration not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and resilience. This new moon also calls on nations to recognize the interconnected nature of our world and the need for collaborative solutions to climate-related challenges. As climate change continues to reshape borders and impact global health, countries have a chance to unify around shared goals for environmental stewardship. The US and China, despite their differences, are presented with an opportunity to lead by example, showing that even the most powerful nations can set aside competitive agendas to address the planet's health. By committing to shared humanitarian goals on climate action, countries can rally their citizens in the world toward a common purpose. Educational exchanges, collaborative research, and joint environmental initiatives can serve as bridges, connecting nations through their shared responsibility to the Earth. The new moon in Sagittarius reminds us that the spirit of adventure also involves stewardship, a recognition that the greatest journey we undertake is one of preserving the world we inhabit. As this new moon casts its hopeful light across the globe, it inspires leaders and citizens alike to consider the value of inclusivity, transparency, and compassion in building a future that honors both our diversity and shared humanity. This transit offers a chance to transform potential challenges into opportunities for unity, resilience, and growth. The Sagittarian energy encourages us to look beyond borders, to embrace our interconnectedness, and to embark on a journey toward global harmony. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 8, 2024, illuminates a world eager for change, igniting a spirit of optimism and humanitarian purpose. Under Sagittarius's expansive and forward-thinking influence, this lunar phase urges nations to address the pressing global issues of climate migration, ideological divides, and the pursuit of justice, unity, and compassion. From strengthening coalitions for disaster relief to advocating for inclusive social policies, the energy of this new moon encourages collaborative solutions that transcend borders, embracing a shared responsibility for the planet and humanity. In regions prone to climate-driven displacement, such as the coastal and disaster-prone areas of Bangladesh, the Caribbean islands, and parts of sub-Saharan Africa, this new moon casts a bright spotlight on the urgent need for climate migration and humanitarian aid. The Sagittarian influence underscores a global duty to provide refuge and support to those displaced by environmental crises, fostering resilience through cross-border cooperation. Neighboring nations and international organizations are encouraged to form cross-border coalitions for disaster relief, pooling resources to offer logistical, medical, and social support for climate refugees. Governments can also prioritize resource allocation for at-risk areas, ensuring that vulnerable communities are prepared for the impacts of climate change. By investing in infrastructure and sustainable support systems, countries can enhance resilience and recovery, empowering affected populations to rebuild their lives with dignity. This humanitarian approach aligns perfectly with Sagittarius's ideals, underscoring a compassionate response to one of the most critical challenges of our time. The Sagittarian new moon also stirs ideological and social movements around the world, inspiring countries like the United States, France, India, and other nations with active human rights movements to rally around principles of equality, justice, and inclusivity. Sagittarius's philosophical energy invites open discussions on cultural diversity, human rights, and the importance of embracing differences. This alignment may drive public discourse and activism aimed at creating a more just society, particularly in countries with significant ideological divides. To foster human rights and social justice advocacy, governments and movements can work together to address the rights of migrants and refugees, counteracting discriminatory policies and cultivating inclusivity. Public forums that promote open dialogue create opportunities for bridging ideological gaps, helping diverse communities connect, understand, and empathize with each other's experiences. Sagittarius's influence encourages us to break down barriers, to listen, and to unify around shared ideals that honor human dignity and respect. Education and cultural exchange also thrive under this new moon's Sagittarian guidance, as countries like those in the European Union, Canada, and Australia, along with regions hosting international student populations, are inspired to expand their support for diversity in education. With Sagittarius's emphasis on exploration and learning, nations are called to promote international student programs that enhance cultural understanding, language acquisition, and inclusivity. Strengthening support for students from diverse backgrounds fosters a learning environment that celebrates multiculturalism, bridging gaps between cultures and preparing young people to become global citizens. Public awareness campaigns further reinforce the value of cultural exchange, helping citizens appreciate the economic and social benefits of immigration. In regions where anti-immigrant sentiments may be present, these campaigns can counter xenophobia, promoting a narrative that embraces diversity as a source of strength and resilience. Sagittarius invites us to see beyond our borders and welcome the richness of diverse perspectives, creating a foundation for harmonious global communities. This new moon's expansive energy also extends to addressing nuclear and military concerns through diplomacy and dialogue. Although Sagittarius is not directly aligned with aggression, its openness to communication provides an ideal environment for de-escalation. Countries involved in tense regions are encouraged to engage in mediation channels for peaceful resolutions, with neutral parties or international bodies like the United Nations facilitating discussions on nuclear de-escalation and military restraint. Reinforcing a global commitment to human rights and diplomacy can help reduce military threats, with leaders highlighting shared values of safety and humanitarian priorities. This Sagittarian approach emphasizes diplomacy over aggression, inviting nations to address security concerns through collaboration and mutual respect rather than conflict. In an era marked by economic volatility, the new moon's influence also calls for adaptable economic strategies, particularly in developing economies. Sagittarius, with its adaptable and cooperative spirit, encourages flexible economic policies and trade practices that reassure both domestic and foreign investors. By committing to international standards and economic transparency, governments can bolster confidence among investors, demonstrating resilience in the face of global uncertainties. Finally, Sagittarius's alignment with freedom and justice lends its energy to promoting constructive social movements for equality and inclusivity. Nations with active movements for social reform are inspired to prioritize legal reforms that support social justice, making strides toward fair and inclusive policies that reflect this new moon's compassion-driven energy. Educational programs on diversity and inclusivity offer further support, dismantling stereotypes and nurturing empathy within communities, creating an environment where marginalized groups are respected and embraced. The new moon in Sagittarius offers an extraordinary moment for nations and individuals to work together with optimism and purpose. By focusing on adaptability, transparency, and compassion, countries can seize this opportunity to address complex issues with a commitment to justice and shared humanity. Sociological and psychological strategies, such as promoting awareness, engaging in open dialogue, and emphasizing inclusivity, equip individuals and societies to navigate this period constructively, paving the way for a more unified and compassionate global community. This moment is one of profound potential, urging nations to act not only with ambition but with empathy, and to weave these values into the very fabric of their policies and initiatives. As the new moon sets its course, it leaves a message for us all. that true progress lies in the pursuit of a world where collaboration, compassion, and the spirit of exploration are cherished. The journey ahead is one of discovery and cooperation, a path where humanity moves forward together, guided by the light of a new beginning. As the new moon's light waxes, it serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us that the journey to a better world is a collective one, requiring both courage and empathy. The road ahead is illuminated by the ideals of Sagittarius, guiding us toward a future where collaboration, cultural exchange, and mutual respect are the cornerstones of progress. With each step, the world becomes more connected, more compassionate, and more resilient, united in the shared vision of a brighter tomorrow. Mars-Saturn conjunction on December 15, 2024. The Mars-Saturn conjunction on December 15, 2024, brings a powerful dynamic of action meeting restraint, a planetary alignment that channels Mars's assertive energy through Saturn's disciplined, cautious filter. This alignment holds the potential for stricter government policies and measures, as authorities seek to maintain order and respond decisively to perceived threats. Yet, for leaders willing to approach this aspect constructively, the Mars-Saturn conjunction offers a unique opportunity, a chance to implement policies that combine structure with resilience, using measured action to foster stability even in challenging times. With discipline and assertiveness, this conjunction can shape policies that prioritize both control and support, balancing the need for authority with respect for societal well-being. One of the key themes under this alignment is the enactment of restrictive policies and government crackdowns. The tension between Mars's drive for immediate action and Saturn's demand for cautious, measured control may lead to increased regulations, surveillance, and stringent policies aimed at maintaining order. In countries like Russia and China, where governmental authority is often asserted in response to opposition, this conjunction may manifest as intensified controls, especially in areas with active dissent. In the United States, national security concerns or protests may prompt authorities to introduce stricter measures, potentially sparking public debate over civil liberties and government power. Sociologically, this aspect symbolizes the eternal power struggle between authority and individual freedoms, a dynamic where public resilience often rises in response to increased control. Governments may benefit from fostering transparency in policymaking, using Saturn's structured energy to create policies that not only enforce order but also respect citizens' rights. Transparent communication around the reasons and intentions behind restrictive policies can help bridge the divide between authority and the public, cultivating trust even amid measures of control. The Mars-Saturn conjunction may also bring economic constraints and reduced foreign investment, particularly in regions where political volatility or sanctions are factors. Saturn's influence suggests an economic tightening, while Mars indicates that conflicts or restrictions could exacerbate financial instability. In the European Union, rising geopolitical tensions may lead to stricter sanctions or economic measures, potentially disrupting trade and reducing foreign investments. Similarly, the Middle East and parts of Asia may feel the economic impact of political pressures, as foreign investments respond to shifting risks. From a sociological perspective, this alignment encourages a focus on domestic stability, prompting leaders to emphasize resilience within their own markets. By implementing adaptive economic policies, countries can balance Saturn's call for caution with Mars's drive to act decisively, protecting economic stability despite reduced foreign investments. Communicating economic plans clearly and consistently can help reassure both domestic and foreign stakeholders, building confidence in a time of constraint. The alignment of Mars and Saturn also suggests a heightened military presence and defensive strategies in regions where tensions run high. Mars's assertive nature, tempered by Saturn's disciplined approach, may lead countries to reinforce their military presence or adopt defensive postures, particularly along contested borders. In regions like India and Pakistan, where historical tensions are heightened by territorial disputes, this alignment could prompt both sides to reinforce border defenses. Israel and Palestine, too, may experience heightened security measures or military actions, as authorities seek to assert control and maintain stability. Effective communication around these actions is crucial. While defensive measures may be seen as necessary, they also risk alienating civilian populations if the purpose is not clearly understood. Governments can mitigate misunderstandings by communicating openly about the purpose and scope of military actions, emphasizing security and public protection while avoiding escalation. This approach aligns with Saturn's disciplined nature, fostering trust and transparency even as assertive actions are taken. Under the Mars-Saturn conjunction, social unrest and resistance movements may also gain momentum, particularly in countries with active civic engagement or a history of protest. The restrictive policies imposed under this alignment could create frustration among the public, leading to demonstrations and organized resistance. In countries like France and Brazil, where civic movements are integral to political life, perceived government overreach may spark protests, as citizens mobilize to defend their rights. In Iran, increased restrictions could also fuel public dissatisfaction, leading to organized displays of dissent. Sociologically, this alignment highlights the potential for shared grievances to unite communities, strengthening the resolve of citizens to stand together against perceived oppression. For governments, opening channels for constructive dialogue can provide an outlet for public sentiment, transforming frustration into structured change. By allowing citizens to voice their concerns within a controlled framework, authorities can acknowledge the public's need to be heard, creating opportunities for meaningful engagement that reinforce stability rather than division. The Mars-Saturn conjunction on December 15, 2024, embodies a complex energy, one that combines Mars's assertive drive with Saturn's disciplined restraint. While this alignment may inspire restrictive measures and defensive actions, it also offers a pathway for thoughtful, constructive leadership. Governments that embrace transparency, communicate openly, and engage constructively with their citizens can harness this powerful aspect to create policies that reinforce resilience and social cohesion. By balancing control with compassion, authority with openness, the Mars-Saturn conjunction can serve as a catalyst for stability in a time of heightened tension. The Mars-Saturn conjunction on December 15, 2024, calls for a thoughtful and disciplined approach to action, blending Mars's drive with Saturn's commitment to structure and responsibility. Leaders who navigate this powerful alignment with clarity and restraint can foster stability, resilience, and constructive change. Below are strategies to transform the Mars-Saturn energy into positive resolutions that prioritize security, economic stability, and civic engagement. Governments can harness Saturn's disciplined influence to implement policies that ensure security while safeguarding individual freedoms. Clear, open communication around the purpose, scope, and limitations of such policies helps the public understand these measures and reduces the risk of unrest. By fostering a balance between security and freedom, authorities show respect for citizens' rights, fostering a sense of shared responsibility. Transparent, open dialogue around these policies can transform potential resistance into cooperation, as citizens feel valued and informed. As this alignment may bring challenges to foreign investment, leaders can focus on Saturn's long-term approach to strengthen economic resilience. By encouraging local industries and diversifying trade partnerships, nations can build a self-reliant economy that withstands fluctuations in foreign investment. Investing in local innovation and supporting small businesses promotes economic independence, while expanding trade networks creates a cushion against potential divestment. By using Saturn's discipline to bolster domestic markets and Mars's proactive energy to explore new economic avenues, leaders can maintain stability in times of uncertainty. The Mars-Saturn conjunction provides an opportunity to establish a disciplined, constructive approach to defense and peacekeeping. Governments can channel Mars's assertive energy into measured military strategies that prioritize peace and stability, rather than aggression. By engaging in regional dialogues and collaborative security measures, countries can prevent unnecessary conflict and reinforce mutual security commitments. Through Saturn's restraint, military presence can be reframed as a stabilizing force, ensuring protection without inciting further tensions. This approach emphasizes Mars's drive for action in conjunction with Saturn's caution, creating a balance that promotes security without escalation. This alignment offers a chance for governments to foster transparency and public trust by providing structured platforms for civic engagement. Saturn's energy for structure and Mars's drive for action can be combined to create open channels for public feedback, allowing leaders to address citizens' concerns constructively. By offering spaces for dialogue, authorities can manage dissent within a controlled framework, engaging the public in finding solutions rather than suppressing their voices. This approach not only builds trust but also uses the Mars-Saturn energy to channel collective grievances into positive, actionable change that strengthens the social fabric. The Mars-Saturn conjunction encourages a disciplined approach to assertive action, inviting leaders to create structured, thoughtful responses to challenges. When harnessed constructively, this alignment can lead to resilient policies, economic stability, and increased public trust. Through balanced enforcement, economic reforms, peace-focused military strategies, and platforms for civic engagement, nations can transform potential tension into resilience and stability. The disciplined drive of Mars and the structured wisdom of Saturn offer a powerful framework for sustainable progress, guiding nations toward a future where order and freedom coexist, fostering a strong and united global community. As the conjunction's influence unfolds, it leaves a lasting reminder of the strength found in restraint and the power of measured action. This alignment challenges leaders to act decisively yet mindfully, to build frameworks that promote order without compromising freedom. In a world facing complex challenges, the Mars-Saturn conjunction offers a blueprint for resilience, guiding nations toward stability and unity in the face of adversity. Sun-Uranus square on December 15, 2024. The Sun-Uranus square on December 15, 2024, heralds a period ripe with potential for sudden upheaval, resistance, and change, especially within authoritarian or conservative political climates. Uranus, the planet of disruption and innovation, in conflict with the Sun's stabilizing force, sets the stage for a dramatic clash between entrenched authority and the relentless drive for freedom and reform. This aspect heightens social and psychological tension, as individuals and communities feel a powerful urge to challenge structures that restrict their autonomy and sense of identity. For leaders and governments, this alignment offers a unique opportunity to channel this energy constructively, embracing adaptability and progress to meet the demands of the times. The Uranian drive for rebellion meets the Sun's authoritative influence, creating conditions for public protests and organized movements that push back against restrictive governance. This energy is especially intense in countries like China and Russia, where authoritarian controls are more prominent. Here, groups may rally to challenge governmental policies, asserting their desire for change and autonomy. In the United States, citizens may mobilize around issues of social and political justice, responding to perceived injustices or restrictions on freedom. Sociologically, this aspect reflects the tension between the collective desire for autonomy, Uranus, and the centralized identity represented by the Sun. Psychologically, people feel a growing frustration with leadership that appears stagnant or unresponsive to their needs. To mitigate conflict, governments could benefit from policies that encourage dialogue and reform, offering avenues for constructive change rather than repression. By addressing the public's demands through open communication and thoughtful reforms, leaders can transform this energy into productive discourse that fosters stability and inclusivity. With Uranus's association with financial volatility, the Sun-Uranus square could unsettle global markets, sparking economic disruption and uncertainty. The European Union, where political unrest can impact investor confidence, may experience economic slowdowns or divestments. On a global scale, investors might react to heightened instability by pulling assets from regions perceived as high risk, particularly where public dissent is on the rise. Sociologically, this aspect amplifies collective unease, challenging the public's faith in economic and political structures. In response, governments and economic leaders can focus on policies that stabilize markets and build resilience. By implementing measures that promote transparency, protect investments, and reassure both citizens and investors, leaders can restore confidence and mitigate the effects of economic turbulence. This balanced approach reinforces stability and helps navigate the uncertainty that Uranus often brings. The disruptive energy of Uranus can trigger defensive posturing and border conflicts as nations seek to assert control and protect their interests. This influence is particularly relevant in regions like India, Pakistan, and Israel-Palestine, where historical tensions may flare, potentially resulting in assertive displays of military strength. Middle Eastern nations may also experience shifts in power dynamics as factions or groups push for autonomy and control, creating further complexity in an already sensitive region. Psychologically, this aspect reflects a heightened defensiveness, as nations strive to protect their identity and resources. The best approach to prevent escalation lies in diplomatic channels that prioritize de-escalation and dialogue. By engaging in conversations that allow grievances to be aired in non-combative ways, leaders can prevent small conflicts from snowballing into larger crises. Emphasizing peaceful negotiation and understanding can harness Uranus's need for expression without compromising stability, promoting a safer and more cooperative international environment. The Sun represents collective identity, while Uranus embodies freedom and individuality. This alignment ignites the flame of social advocacy, encouraging people to unite under common causes related to human rights, freedom, and justice. In countries like Iran and Myanmar, where political freedoms are limited, movements for democratic rights and personal liberties may gain strength. In the European Union and North America, this energy could drive greater advocacy for social and environmental justice, amplifying the collective call for meaningful reform. Sociologically, this aspect fuels a collective urgency to protect individual rights, while psychologically, people feel a pressing need to safeguard their autonomy and values. Governments that respond with open dialogue and reform initiatives can channel these demands into constructive outcomes, minimizing unrest while aligning with progressive principles. Demonstrating a commitment to freedom, justice, and human rights strengthens public trust and reinforces the role of governments as advocates for the people. The Sun-Uranus square on December 15, 2024, brings a powerful potential for transformative change, urging leaders and societies to address tension between established structures and the need for innovation and freedom. With strategic actions, governments can harness the disruptive energy of Uranus constructively, turning challenges into opportunities for progress and stability. Below are strategies to guide positive resolutions during this period of heightened tension. To mitigate the disruptive influences of Uranus, governments can create transparent and participatory channels for citizens to express concerns and engage in decision-making. By integrating Uranian principles of innovation into governance, leaders can foster policies that are inclusive and responsive to public needs, emphasizing community welfare. Open dialogue platforms where citizens feel heard can reduce frustration and promote trust, turning potential unrest into collaborative problem-solving. Transparent governance, paired with a willingness to listen, transforms the clash between authority, Sun, and rebellion, Uranus, into a force for inclusive progress. Under Uranus's influence, economies benefit from flexibility and forward-thinking policies that accommodate periods of uncertainty. Governments can promote economic stability by encouraging innovation and adaptation within key industries, particularly in regions vulnerable to political unrest. Policies that support local businesses, foster technological advancements, and diversify trade networks can build resilience, reassuring investors and stabilizing markets. By embracing change in a controlled manner, leaders demonstrate that their economies are prepared to weather fluctuations, reducing the risk of investment withdrawal and maintaining public confidence. In areas of military tension, diplomacy can serve as a powerful tool for transforming potential conflicts into cooperative efforts. Preventive diplomacy that addresses cross-border concerns and establishes collaborative frameworks can channel Uranus's assertive energy toward regional stability rather than confrontation. By building strategic alliances and engaging in peace-oriented dialogues, governments turn Uranian rebelliousness into a catalyst for cooperation, fostering peace through mutual respect and shared goals. This approach ensures that diplomatic efforts reinforce stability, helping to prevent the escalations often associated with this alignment. The Sun-Uranus square inspires a strong demand for change, particularly in areas related to human rights and social justice. Governments can meet this need by listening to the public and reforming policies to align with global human rights standards. By openly acknowledging grievances and implementing progressive reforms, authorities demonstrate a commitment to citizens' well-being, promoting trust and reducing the potential for unrest. Prioritizing human rights, freedom, and social justice reflects Uranus's spirit of liberation, allowing leaders to create a societal framework that respects individuality while fostering collective unity. The Sun-Uranus square invites disruptive but necessary change, encouraging societies to embrace innovation and progress. By promoting transparency, adaptive economic policies, preventive diplomacy, and human rights reform, governments can transform this challenging aspect into a constructive force that strengthens resilience across social, economic, and political domains. This alignment offers a powerful reminder of the importance of adaptability and inclusivity, encouraging leaders to foster open dialogue and build trust within their communities. When harnessed with insight and foresight, the transformative energy of Uranus can propel societies toward a future where freedom, innovation, and unity drive sustainable progress. This moment of tension is a catalyst for growth, pushing humanity toward a more resilient and inclusive world. The Sun-Uranus square presents both challenges and opportunities, as leaders navigate the tension between stability and change. By embracing policies that promote open dialogue, economic stability, diplomatic restraint, and human rights, Governments can harness the transformative energy of Uranus without destabilizing the societal foundation represented by the Sun. This alignment serves as a reminder that progress often arises from moments of friction and that adaptability and empathy can turn potential upheaval into a catalyst for positive growth. The Sun-Uranus square offers nations a powerful invitation to evolve, to reimagine the relationship between authority and freedom, and to create a world that values individuality while maintaining collective harmony. This period of disruption can pave the way for a brighter future if approached with insight, compassion, and a willingness to embrace change. The path forward is illuminated by innovation and unity, inviting societies to rise to the occasion and build a more resilient, inclusive world. Uranus direct in Taurus on December 15, 2024. As Uranus moves direct in Taurus on December 15, 2024, it opens a powerful window for innovation in global finance, agriculture, and environmental management, sparking transformative changes that resonate across societal, economic, and ecological landscapes. Taurus, with its grounding influence on resources and stability, meets Uranus's disruptive energy, inspiring revolutionary shifts while challenging nations to balance progress with resilience. By embracing adaptive strategies that blend innovation with stability, countries can navigate this transit to build a more equitable, sustainable world. With Uranus in Taurus, financial systems are poised to undergo transformative shifts as nations explore digital currencies, blockchain technology, and economic models that emphasize sustainability and inclusivity. The United States, China, and the European Union, as leaders in global finance, may lead the charge in adopting digital currencies and blockchain frameworks, setting a trend that other markets may follow. Meanwhile, countries like El Salvador and Venezuela, grappling with economic instability, may seek innovative financial solutions to stabilize their economies. Policymakers can support financial reforms that make digital finance accessible to marginalized populations, addressing economic inequality. Public and private sectors can collaborate to provide digital literacy programs, empowering citizens to navigate new financial technologies and benefit from the shift toward digital systems. Governments can prepare for potential market fluctuations by implementing flexible economic regulations. Adaptive policies allow nations to respond quickly to changes, reducing the risk of instability. By balancing Uranus's drive for innovation with Taurus's stability, leaders can foster economic resilience in times of rapid change. Taurus, ruling agriculture and resources, combined with Uranus's progressive energy, encourages sustainable practices in farming and environmental conservation. Nations like India, Brazil, and the Netherlands, with significant agricultural sectors, may pioneer advancements in precision agriculture, vertical farming, and crop resilience technologies. As major contributors to carbon emissions, the United States and China may also prioritize green technology to achieve climate goals and strengthen environmental security. By fostering international partnerships in green technology and sustainable agriculture, countries can innovate more effectively and share financial and research resources. Cooperative efforts can accelerate advancements in environmental sustainability, enabling countries to address climate challenges collectively. Including rural and farming communities in the dialogue on sustainable practices ensures that policies are both economically viable and culturally sensitive. By involving these communities in decision-making processes, governments can build support for sustainable practices that honor local needs and traditions. Uranus's influence brings unpredictability to financial and resource markets, potentially affecting currency values, commodity prices, and stock exchanges worldwide. Nations with strong technological industries, like Japan and Germany, may see rapid shifts in their tech sectors, impacting trade and influencing global markets. Resource-rich nations like Russia and Saudi Arabia may experience fluctuating demand as the world increasingly turns to alternative energy sources. To counter instability, governments can implement agile policies that allow for rapid responses to market changes. By diversifying economies and reducing dependence on single resources, nations can create a stable economic foundation that withstands sudden shifts. Governments can set an example by adopting transparent, ethical practices in resource extraction and usage. Prioritizing sustainable practices ensures that economic growth aligns with environmental responsibility, balancing short-term gains with long-term stability. The impact of Uranus in Taurus extends beyond tangible changes in finance and resources, affecting societal mindsets and psychological responses to rapid progress. Sudden economic changes may cause distress and uncertainty. Governments can ease public concerns by emphasizing stability and openly communicating their strategies to protect employment and livelihoods, fostering trust during transitions. In societies rooted in traditional values, rapid change can feel disorienting. This transit calls for bridging innovation with respect for cultural heritage, ensuring that communities can adapt without feeling that their identity is under threat. As economies shift, reducing wealth gaps is essential. Policies that promote equitable job opportunities in emerging sectors, address socioeconomic inequalities, and support psychological well-being can help create a more stable society and reduce social tensions. As resource stability becomes a focal point, the competition for access to energy and raw materials may create conflicts. The Uranus in Taurus transit encourages collaborative solutions that promote peace and equitable resource sharing. Diplomacy and transparent resource sharing agreements can help prevent conflicts over natural resources. Engaging third-party mediators can assist in diffusing tensions, promoting cooperation over competition in areas where resources are contested. Nations can form multilateral alliances for resource security, sharing strategies for crisis response and equitable access. These alliances can serve as frameworks for regional stability, reducing the likelihood of territorial disputes and fostering mutual respect. Uranus direct in Taurus is a powerful catalyst for transformative innovation, prompting governments and societies to pursue progress that is both ambitious and responsible. By embracing financial inclusivity, sustainable agriculture, adaptable economic policies, and ethical resource management, countries can navigate this period of change with resilience and foresight. This alignment challenges leaders to balance Uranus's drive for modernization with Taurus's commitment to stability, creating pathways for sustainable growth that honor both human and environmental needs. By integrating astrological insights with sociological and psychological frameworks, nations can embark on a path that embraces the future while respecting the past, fostering resilience and harmony in a rapidly evolving world. Full Moon in Gemini on December 15, 2024. The full moon in Gemini on December 15, 2024, brings to light issues around information, communication, and diplomacy, creating a heightened atmosphere of clarity and revelation. Gemini's influence, with its emphasis on dualities and discourse, sheds light on hidden truths and unresolved issues, calling for greater transparency and open dialogue. This full moon is a period for addressing complex global challenges, from media integrity and public discourse to infrastructure reform, by adopting strategies that integrate openness, accountability, and resilience. Here's a closer look at how this lunar phase could impact specific countries and sectors and the strategies that can transform challenges into constructive progress. With the full moon in Gemini emphasizing truth and clarity, countries with significant media influence, such as the United States, United Kingdom, and Russia, may experience major disclosures or revelations. This energy is likely to bring hidden information to the surface, highlighting the need for media transparency and accountability. Whistleblower cases or significant government disclosures could reveal previously obscured truths, igniting public interest and debate. Governments and educational institutions can foster media literacy campaigns that empower citizens to critically evaluate sources and distinguish between credible information and misinformation. By encouraging critical thinking, societies can reduce polarization and counteract the influence of sensationalism and propaganda. News agencies can emphasize ethical standards and transparent reporting, building public trust and promoting resilience against divisive narratives. Encouraging journalists to adhere to ethical practices reinforces the role of media as a platform for truth, fostering accountability and improving public discourse. Gemini's influence on communication and discourse encourages a wave of open, meaningful public debates, especially in countries like the United States and India, where polarized opinions have fueled recent tensions. This full moon highlights the importance of freedom of speech and encourages societies to engage in constructive conversations on social media regulation, civic participation, and educational policies. Governments can support online forums and community spaces that uphold freedom of speech while implementing measures to curb hate speech and misinformation. These platforms can serve as safe spaces for dialogue, encouraging respectful exchange and inclusive participation in civic matters. By implementing educational programs focused on debate and active listening skills, communities can foster respectful engagement with diverse perspectives. Teaching citizens how to engage thoughtfully in public discourse builds a foundation for productive and empathetic conversations. With Gemini ruling local transportation, this full moon highlights infrastructure concerns, particularly in urban areas with aging or strained systems, such as certain US cities, India, and parts of Southeast Asia. Issues related to transportation safety, funding, and urban planning may come into focus, urging local governments to address the pressing needs of their communities. Governments can establish public-private partnerships to secure funding for infrastructure improvements, enhancing accessibility, resilience, and safety in urban areas. By working with private investors, governments can expedite updates to transportation networks, creating long-term value for public use. Involving the public in urban development decisions fosters inclusivity and sustainability. Local governments can prioritize public input when planning transportation and infrastructure projects, ensuring that these developments align with the needs and preferences of the communities they serve. The Gemini full moon impacts not only physical structures and communication but also societal mindsets, affecting how communities respond to rapid revelations and changes. The clarity brought by this full moon may reveal uncomfortable truths, potentially shaking public confidence. By openly communicating the reasons behind disclosures or policy changes, governments can foster transparency, helping the public process information constructively. The urge for open discourse can create opportunities to promote informed citizenship. Educational initiatives that teach media literacy, debate skills, and critical thinking encourage individuals to engage actively and responsibly in civic matters. As information surfaces and discussions unfold, the emphasis on transparency and dialogue will be critical to avoiding potential conflicts and promoting mutual understanding. This full moon encourages transparent diplomatic relations, especially among nations facing tension or past disputes. By prioritizing open communication, countries can reduce misunderstandings and build trust, contributing to global stability. By incorporating civic education into school curricula and public programs, societies can empower citizens to approach information critically and participate constructively. This approach fosters a resilient, informed public capable of navigating complex social and political landscapes. The full moon in Gemini on December 15, 2024, casts a revealing light on diplomatic communications, security concerns, economic stability, and social cohesion, urging nations to approach complex global challenges with transparency, resilience, and constructive dialogue. This alignment of the Sun in Sagittarius opposing the Moon in Gemini highlights the delicate balance between national interests and global cooperation, calling for openness in communication and empathy in international relations. By integrating astrological insights with sociological and psychological principles, leaders can embrace the spirit of Gemini to foster unity, trust, and a shared commitment to addressing pressing global issues. As this full moon brings ideological tensions to the forefront, countries such as the United States, China, and Russia, along with other regions engaged in international negotiations, may face challenges in balancing their national interests with the need for global collaboration. The Sun's position in Sagittarius emphasizes ideals, while the Moon in Gemini underscores the value of information exchange and dialogue, creating a dynamic that encourages nations to engage constructively. By focusing on transparent and respectful diplomatic channels, nations can ease tensions and foster collaboration on shared global goals. Open lines of communication reduce misunderstandings and support meaningful engagement on international issues, especially those requiring collective action. Cultural exchange initiatives can help bridge ideological divides, fostering mutual understanding through shared experiences and perspectives. By promoting cross-cultural programs, countries can cultivate empathy and reduce the cultural barriers that often complicate diplomacy, creating a foundation for long-term cooperation. The full moon's illuminating influence may reveal hidden security issues or intensify existing military tensions, especially in regions embroiled in cross-border conflicts. This is a time when nations may need to prioritize peace and stability, approaching security concerns with a focus on balance and cooperation rather than unilateral actions. Mediation and peace talks led by neutral parties can facilitate constructive discussions, helping to address core concerns on all sides. By acknowledging both national interests and regional stability, peace talks can create pathways for de-escalation and mutual understanding. Through collaborative security frameworks and defense pacts, nations can ensure coordinated responses to rising tensions without resorting to aggressive unilateral actions. These frameworks promote shared responsibility and reduce the likelihood of escalating conflicts, reinforcing a commitment to regional and global stability. The Gemini full moon may bring economic vulnerabilities to the surface, sparking concerns around market stability and investor confidence. Nations with volatile markets may experience capital outflows or investor hesitancy, underscoring the importance of transparency and stability in economic policies. Governments can attract foreign investments by creating stable economic policies that reassure investors of long-term resilience. Offering incentives and consistent policies can help mitigate the effects of market fluctuations, preserving economic stability in uncertain times. By openly communicating economic forecasts and policy directions, governments can improve investor confidence and strengthen public trust. Transparent economic strategies not only provide reassurance but also foster a sense of shared responsibility in navigating financial challenges. This full moon in Gemini also encourages communities to strengthen social bonds by addressing societal vulnerabilities, including the psychological impacts of economic instability and security concerns. By promoting resilience and cohesion, nations can empower individuals and communities to navigate crises with greater strength and optimism. Establishing community support networks provides a framework for individuals to access help and resources during times of crisis. These networks strengthen social resilience, offering both emotional and practical support to those affected by disruptive events. Public education programs focused on psychological resilience and crisis preparedness empower citizens to respond effectively during times of instability. By teaching individuals about resilience, governments can reduce anxiety and foster a sense of control and readiness. The full moon in Gemini on December 15, 2024, invites nations and communities to engage with transparency, empathy, and open dialogue, emphasizing the importance of communication in navigating global challenges. This alignment underscores the need for constructive diplomatic relations, collaborative security efforts, economic transparency, and social resilience, providing a roadmap for addressing today's complex issues with clarity and compassion. By promoting transparent governance, open dialogue, and constructive engagement across economic, social, and political domains, countries can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and cooperation. The full moon in Gemini encourages us all to embrace a spirit of shared humanity and mutual understanding, leading to a world where open communication and empathy lay the foundation for stability and unity. This moment of clarity is an invitation to build bridges, foster resilience, and approach the future with a commitment to inclusivity and progress. The Sun's ingress into Capricorn on December 21, 2024. As the Sun moves into Capricorn on December 21, 2024, marking the winter solstice, it ushers in a period of discipline, authority, and structural reflection on both personal and global scales. Capricorn's Saturnian influence underscores themes of governance, economic prudence, and resilience, encouraging nations and individuals alike to ground themselves in responsibility and foresight. This alignment in mundane astrology provides a window to understand global events through sociological and psychological perspectives, allowing for constructive strategies in navigating shifts in governance, economic policy, and social cohesion. Capricorn, with its association with governance, stability, and discipline, places a spotlight on authority figures and social structures. This period may bring to the surface questions of leadership integrity and public trust, particularly in nations undergoing political scrutiny or structural reforms. Governments worldwide may feel pressure to reinforce their commitment to transparency and accountability, aligning with a sociological emphasis on institutional integrity. Psychologically, this ingress into Capricorn encourages leaders to balance authority with social responsibility, fostering a sense of stability and trust. Countries with significant Capricorn placements in their national charts or those experiencing critical Saturn transits may feel this influence more strongly. United States, with the ongoing influence of its Pluto return, the US may experience heightened debates around governmental accountability and institutional integrity. Capricorn's disciplined energy could drive a renewed focus on economic reforms and social welfare, aiming to address political polarization and foster a stable, responsible leadership framework. China. The emphasis on control and stability may intensify as China seeks to maintain authority on both domestic and global stages. Internal leadership accountability could come into sharper focus, especially in regions like Hong Kong and Taiwan, where control is critical to China's broader strategic interests. The scrutiny of leadership in this period may amplify public calls for transparent governance. Psychologically, the collective need for trust in authority structures rises, and meeting this need could play a stabilizing role in societies grappling with leadership challenges. Transparent practices foster public confidence and reinforce a sense of societal order, aligning with Capricorn's long-term vision. Under Capricorn's Saturnian influence, fiscal responsibility and sustainable growth take center stage. In times of economic fluctuation, governments may implement austerity measures, aligning with sociological principles of resource management and equitable distribution. Practical reforms may focus not only on curbing excess but also on laying the groundwork for future resilience. Psychologically, this period challenges individuals and institutions to adopt a disciplined approach, aligning resources with long-term goals and building resilience against economic volatility. Nations facing economic instability or debt may prioritize structural reforms and financial discipline. Argentina. As it navigates economic instability, the Sun in Capricorn may signal reforms centered on debt reduction and inflation control. The government may feel pressed to adopt stringent measures to stabilize the economy, prioritizing policies that foster sustainability and control inflation. European Union. Facing inflationary pressures and shifts following Brexit, the EU may embrace structural economic reforms that reflect Capricorn's call for fiscal responsibility. These policies are likely to impact economically vulnerable countries like Italy and Greece, where austerity and resource management will be emphasized to promote long-term stability. Sociologically, this focus on economic discipline promotes a culture of accountability and moderation, encouraging sustainable policymaking. Psychologically, individuals may feel motivated to strengthen their personal financial security, embracing Capricorn's long-term outlook and resilience-focused mindset. This Capricorn period emphasizes the need for alignment between leadership responsibility, economic sustainability, and social resilience. The constructive strategies that arise from this alignment highlight a disciplined, pragmatic approach to governance and economic policy. As Capricorn is associated with responsibility and control, nations may prioritize stability in regions experiencing military or geopolitical tensions. Diplomatic initiatives grounded in conflict resolution and collaboration can help maintain stability, with leaders encouraged to balance national interests with regional peace. Leaders can engage in peace-focused dialogues that address fundamental concerns, reinforcing stability by fostering diplomatic solutions over military escalation. Through mutual defense agreements and multilateral cooperation, countries can strengthen their response frameworks while reducing the need for unilateral military action, thus supporting collective stability. The Sun in Capricorn highlights the importance of stable, transparent economic policies that reinforce public trust and investor confidence. Countries grappling with economic instability can benefit from adopting a resilient approach that reflects Saturn's influence on discipline and foresight. Governments can offer incentives to attract foreign investment, fostering economic resilience in a time of market uncertainty. By communicating openly about economic policies and long-term goals, governments can build confidence among both investors and citizens, aligning economic strategies with Capricorn's structured approach. This period calls for a strengthened focus on social cohesion and resilience, particularly in addressing the psychological impacts of economic or political changes. Capricorn's influence encourages communities to rally around shared values of stability, security, and responsibility. Governments and organizations can build support networks that offer resources and assistance during crises, promoting resilience at the community level. Public education initiatives focused on resilience and preparedness can empower citizens to navigate instability with greater confidence and control, reducing collective anxiety and fostering psychological strength. The Sun's ingress into Capricorn on December 21, 2024, marks a significant shift toward themes of structure, discipline, and responsibility across environmental policy, national security, ethical standards, long-term planning, and international relations. Capricorn's Saturnian influence emphasizes a practical approach, calling for sustainable and ethical actions that align with both immediate needs and future goals. This ingress encourages nations and individuals to approach global challenges with resilience, grounded governance, and a commitment to stability. Here's a deeper look at these influences and constructive strategies for navigating them. Capricorn's Earth element brings focus to sustainable practices and ecological responsibility, resonating with the ecosystem's perspective, which calls for the stewardship of natural resources. The societal duty to protect the environment aligns with Capricorn's pragmatic nature, encouraging policies that support conservation and responsible resource management. This period fosters an awareness of the importance of sustainable living and psychologically attunes communities to a sense of harmony with nature. Countries vulnerable to climate change or focused on environmental reform may feel Capricorn's influence strongly. Brazil. With a Capricorn midheaven, Brazil is likely to take a prominent role in environmental policy, particularly concerning Amazon conservation. Capricorn's energy supports policies aimed at curbing deforestation and reinforcing sustainable management of natural resources. Australia. Facing frequent climate-related challenges, Australia may strengthen its environmental policies, focusing on sustainable land management, water conservation, and wildfire prevention. Capricorn's practical influence can encourage a long-term approach to resource preservation. Sociologically, environmental responsibility fosters collective awareness about the urgency of conservation. Psychologically, it encourages communities to adopt pragmatic approaches, recognizing the need for sustainable practices that benefit future generations and promote ecological harmony. Capricorn's association with stability and defense aligns with priorities in national security and infrastructure development. This period emphasizes the importance of establishing a resilient foundation that supports community safety and crisis preparedness. Psychologically, Capricorn's influence fosters a collective sense of protection and readiness, with governments focusing on infrastructure investments that provide both security and sustainability. Nations requiring infrastructure development or heightened security may resonate with Capricorn's stabilizing energy. Russia. Security measures may be reinforced as part of a strategic response to global pressures, especially with Mars transiting sensitive areas in Russia's chart. Capricorn's ingress supports policies aimed at strengthening national defenses and fortifying borders. India. Facing tensions with neighboring Pakistan and China, India may prioritize border security and infrastructure enhancements. Capricorn's disciplined energy is likely to drive policies focused on resilience against external threats. Sociologically, these measures respond to citizens' need for stability and order, building public trust in government efforts. Psychologically, strengthened security and infrastructure help mitigate societal anxiety, promoting a collective sense of safety. Under Capricorn's influence, Saturn's focus on accountability may lead to greater scrutiny of leadership ethics. Governments and corporations may face public demands for transparency and integrity, reinforcing the need for ethical practices. Psychologically, this period challenges institutions to align with society's expectations for fairness and justice, strengthening collective responsibility and public trust. Countries dealing with public trust issues or recent controversies may feel amplified calls for ethical governance. Brazil. Following controversies around corruption, Capricorn's ingress may drive Brazil to implement reforms that enhance transparency and rebuild public trust. Ethical governance aligns with Capricorn's grounded energy, emphasizing the importance of integrity in leadership. South Africa. With ongoing challenges related to government accountability, South Africa may see a push towards structural reforms aimed at reducing corruption. Capricorn's influence encourages an alignment with ethical standards that support long-term governance stability. Sociologically, ethical governance establishes norms for integrity and fairness, fostering societal expectations for responsible leadership. Psychologically, it promotes reflection on personal values, reinforcing a collective sense of accountability and resilience. Capricorn's structured nature supports sustainable systems and future-oriented planning, aligning with sociological concepts of strategic progress and system evolution. Psychologically, this period fosters patience, discipline, and a grounded approach to goal achievement. Effective strategies include realistic planning that recognizes socio-cultural impacts and establishes measurable goals, setting the foundation for sustainable growth. Nations with complex socio-economic goals may resonate with Capricorn's energy for structured progress. Japan. Known for its strategic planning, Japan may enhance policies focused on long-term economic growth and social welfare, addressing challenges such as an aging population. Capricorn's influence encourages Japan to prioritize stability and progress that aligns with societal needs. Germany. As an economic leader within the EU, Germany may implement reforms aimed at long-term stability, particularly in energy and social welfare. Capricorn's energy reinforces Germany's dedication to structured progress and sustainable development. Sociologically, Capricorn's influence fosters a collective emphasis on planning for future prosperity. Psychologically, it encourages individuals to align personal goals with broader societal progress, building a culture of resilience and purpose. Capricorn's pragmatism and discipline play a crucial role in international diplomacy, encouraging nations to strengthen alliances based on shared security and stability. Sociologically, this aligns with cooperative frameworks, while psychologically it promotes mutual trust and interdependence. Countries may adopt practical approaches to conflict resolution, prioritizing strategic, stable alliances over impulsive or unilateral actions. Countries involved in diplomatic negotiations or power dynamics may feel Capricorn's impact. Israel. Facing ongoing regional tensions, Israel may seek strategic alliances, with Capricorn's influence reinforcing a cautious, long-term approach to international relations. United States and NATO. In the face of shifting global dynamics, the US and NATO allies may adopt Capricorn's pragmatic energy, strengthening alliances based on shared security and stability. This period may see a revisiting of agreements with emerging powers, balancing regional interests with global stability. Sociologically, this alignment fosters interdependence and stable relations, encouraging cooperation. Psychologically, it promotes strategic diplomacy and calculated decision-making, reflecting Capricorn's disciplined approach to foreign policy. The Sun's ingress into Capricorn brings a disciplined, pragmatic energy that influences nations to prioritize governance, economic stability, environmental responsibility, ethical accountability, and long-term planning. Countries with existing structural challenges or reform needs may feel Capricorn's impact more strongly, as it calls for sustainable, strategic solutions that prioritize resilience and integrity. By integrating transparent governance, responsible resource management, long-term planning, and strategic diplomacy, this Capricorn season encourages nations and individuals alike to adopt disciplined approaches that lay the foundation for stability and growth. This solstice marks a time for grounded, thoughtful action, where patience and pragmatism create lasting impact, fostering global resilience and responsible leadership. As Capricorn's influence endures, it reminds societies of the value in structured, ethical progress that aligns with a shared vision for a secure and prosperous future. Last quarter moon in Libra on December 22, 2024. The last quarter moon in Libra on December 22, 2024, brings a reflective energy to justice, diplomacy, social equality, and economic policies, inviting societies to reassess and adjust their approaches to these areas. Libra's influence in mundane astrology emphasizes collective cooperation, fairness, and balance, prompting nations to find more harmonious solutions to complex issues. By integrating these astrological insights with sociological and psychological frameworks, governments and organizations can navigate challenges thoughtfully and foster social cohesion. Libra's association with justice and balance highlights judicial reform and public discourse around legal systems, particularly in nations like the United States, European Union countries, and Brazil. This period may see governments revisiting high-profile cases or implementing reforms that address social equality and fairness within the judicial system. Enhancing public understanding of rights and legal procedures can foster trust in judicial systems. Governments can implement accessible resources and programs that educate citizens on legal rights, encouraging transparency and participation in the justice system. Inviting public involvement in judicial reform can help address biases and build credibility, especially in regions where views on justice are polarized. Engaging citizens in legal discussions and reform processes reinforces Libra's emphasis on balance and collective fairness. Libra's diplomatic nature encourages nations to reevaluate and adjust international relationships, especially where tensions or imbalances exist. This phase may prompt countries like the United States, China, and Russia, as well as nations within conflict zones, to recalibrate their alliances, trade agreements, and diplomatic approaches to reduce tensions and foster cooperation. Providing diplomats with advanced negotiation and conflict resolution skills can help facilitate productive discussions on sensitive issues, such as territorial disputes and trade conflicts. Strengthening these skills aligns with Libra's diplomatic influence, promoting peaceful, balanced solutions. Programs that encourage cultural exchange and public engagement between nations can foster empathy and understanding, bridging divides. By offering citizens opportunities to participate in diplomatic exchanges, governments can promote international goodwill and mutual respect. Libra's emphasis on fairness and equality may amplify social justice movements focused on gender, race, and civil rights, particularly in countries like the United States, India, and Brazil. This period calls for a reassessment of policies to create more balanced systems, encouraging governments to address equality in workplaces and public policies. Engaging community representatives in policymaking, particularly on issues of gender equality and workplace equity, can lead to laws that reflect diverse perspectives. Libra's cooperative energy supports policies created through dialogue and inclusivity, ensuring that the voices of marginalized communities are represented. By providing public spaces for peaceful protests and community gatherings, governments can maintain social order while respecting citizens' rights to voice concerns. Libra's emphasis on peaceful discourse aligns with allowing citizens a platform for advocacy and social engagement, fostering a sense of balance between authority and public rights. The Libra last quarter moon highlights the importance of collective balance and fairness, suggesting strategies for addressing social, diplomatic, and legal challenges in a way that aligns with sociological values and psychological well-being. By emphasizing transparency and public involvement in legal reform, governments can reinforce public trust in justice systems. This approach addresses both sociological needs for fairness and psychological needs for trust and predictability in legal matters. Libra's influence encourages diplomacy that values empathy and cooperation. Psychological training for diplomats can help nations handle sensitive negotiations with greater understanding, reducing conflict and promoting a sense of global community. The last quarter moon in Libra on December 22, 2024, shines a light on the need for reassessment in economic policy, geopolitical relations, and strategies to address social disparities. Libra's emphasis on balance, fairness, and diplomacy urges nations to adopt cooperative and equitable approaches in tackling these complex challenges. By blending these astrological influences with sociological and psychological frameworks, countries can foster stability, transparency, and social harmony. Libra's association with balance invites governments to reevaluate fiscal policies, particularly in nations grappling with economic inequality or planning tax reforms, such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany. This period emphasizes the importance of creating fair economic structures that promote social stability and reduce disparities. Governments can implement progressive tax structures and welfare programs to ensure resources are equitably distributed, addressing inequality and supporting social stability. This approach aligns with Libra's drive for balance, helping to close economic gaps and promote social cohesion. Inviting public input before implementing major economic reforms fosters transparency and allows leaders to gauge the public's perspective. This open feedback loop promotes trust and ensures that policies reflect the needs of the community, reinforcing a sense of collective investment in economic change. The last quarter moon in Libra emphasizes diplomatic solutions over conflict, urging nations to reassess military policies and alliances. In a time of heightened geopolitical tension, this period suggests a recalibration toward peace and cooperation, encouraging countries to prioritize collective security and conflict resolution. Supporting multilateral organizations focused on conflict resolution demonstrates a commitment to shared security and collective peace. These investments promote collaboration and help to escalate tensions, reinforcing Libra's principles of cooperation and harmony. Reducing weapons stockpiling and prioritizing humanitarian aid in conflict zones encourages cooperative security measures. By focusing on humanitarian efforts, nations can decrease hostilities and foster conditions conducive to peace, aligning with Libra's goal of balance and fairness. Countries facing economic slowdowns or significant foreign investment outflows may find Libra's influence beneficial in crafting fair and balanced economic policies. This phase highlights the need for equitable trade agreements and transparent policies that support both domestic growth and social welfare. By developing equitable trade policies that attract foreign investment while supporting local economies, governments can enhance economic stability. Fair trade agreements reflect Libra's diplomatic energy, ensuring mutually beneficial terms that strengthen international relationships and domestic resilience. Transparent communication regarding policies on taxation, minimum wages, and social welfare builds public trust, especially during periods of economic uncertainty. Providing clear information reassures citizens, fosters confidence in government, and promotes Libra's emphasis on openness and fairness. The last quarter moon in Libra on December 22, 2024, offers a timely opportunity for nations to reflect on and recalibrate their approaches to economic policy, diplomacy, social justice, and security. By adopting balanced, inclusive strategies, governments can support equitable systems that strengthen social welfare and foster diplomatic partnerships. This astrological insight encourages leaders to prioritize harmony, transparency, and cooperation, benefiting both their citizens and global relations. This period invites nations to embrace Libra's principles of fairness and collaboration, building a foundation for stable, harmonious societies. As governments work toward solutions that prioritize equity and mutual respect, they contribute to a world marked by resilience, unity, and shared progress. This last quarter moon encourages reflection and adjustment, laying the groundwork for enduring partnerships and a more just global community. Sun-Jupiter opposition on December 22, 2024. The Sun-Jupiter opposition on December 22, 2024, is likely to fuel ideological conflicts and amplify ambition, leading to potential overreach in political, economic, and security arenas. This alignment may create a tense atmosphere as nations grapple with competing visions of identity, policy, and power. By combining astrological insights with sociological and psychological frameworks, we can explore ways to navigate these challenges constructively, fostering resilience, collaboration, and stability. As Jupiter's expansive energy opposes the Sun's focus on identity and leadership, ideological divides may widen, particularly around national identity and public policy. Leaders may find themselves pushing ambitious, even divisive, agendas, resulting in high-stakes decisions that intensify polarization. This period may highlight competing visions within societies, prompting a reevaluation of core values and public policy. Social groups may rally around distinct beliefs, reinforcing identity boundaries and intensifying debates over public policies, especially in areas like national identity and inclusivity. Polarization can escalate as groups struggle to assert their perspectives, leading to a reevaluation of values at both the personal and national levels. Heated debates may emerge around inclusivity versus security, as governments balance the protection of national identity with humanitarian obligations. Overzealous security policies, justified under the guise of protecting national identity, may spark public backlash or scrutiny from international bodies, eventually requiring adjustments or compromises. Governments can create forums that invite diverse perspectives on controversial issues, enabling constructive debate and reducing polarization. Leaders are encouraged to consider both progressive and conservative values, striving for balanced policies that respect cultural values while protecting human rights. Jupiter's influence, often associated with ambition and expansion, could inspire economic overconfidence, particularly in areas of foreign investment, trade, and diplomacy. Leaders may take risks in economic decisions, potentially impacting investor confidence and disrupting financial stability. This opposition may lead to economic missteps or aggressive trade policies that strain international relations. This period may lead to an atmosphere of economic overconfidence, increasing the likelihood of risky financial moves or trade decisions. Uncertainty in financial markets could heighten, with nations vying to assert economic dominance or expand influence, potentially leading to strained relations and market instability. Ambitious trade moves may have unintended effects on investor confidence, leading to volatility in foreign investments. Governments may enact sanctions or trade restrictions, leading to retaliatory actions that disrupt global trade, impacting national and international economies. Leaders can adopt a measured approach, balancing ambition with pragmatism to protect long-term economic stability. By openly discussing policy goals and risks, governments can reduce uncertainty, promoting investor confidence and public trust. Jupiter's ambitious influence may prompt some governments to display increased military power or take risky security actions. This energy can lead to overreach in defense, with nations making bold moves that heighten cross-border tensions. Leaders may justify preemptive or excessive security measures as necessary for national protection, but such actions may be met with public and international backlash. Psychological theories on conflict suggest that governments may increase military presence or conduct preemptive strikes to assert dominance in times of tension. This reactionary approach could escalate hostilities and foster an us versus them mentality, creating further division and tension. Nations may engage in surprise maneuvers, heightening diplomatic tensions and risking potential conflicts. Unilateral military actions perceived as overreach or unjust could negatively impact both national and international perceptions, challenging global stability. Nations can work together in shared defense and counter-terrorism initiatives, ensuring balanced security efforts that align with global standards. By prioritizing measured security actions and diplomatic channels, governments can avoid unnecessary escalations, promoting a stable international environment. The Sun-Jupiter opposition on December 22, 2024, highlights a dynamic interplay between ambition and accountability, potentially leading to intensified public reaction and the growth of social movements. This opposition amplifies themes of justice, inclusivity, and collective values, encouraging societies to seek balance and fairness, especially where governmental decisions are concerned. By integrating these astrological insights with sociological and psychological principles, leaders and communities can navigate these tensions constructively. As Jupiter, the planet of expansion and collective thought, opposes the Sun, we may witness an upsurge in social movements challenging governmental actions, particularly where public rights and freedoms are at stake. This alignment encourages activism, drawing people together around themes of justice, fairness, and ethical integrity. With Jupiter's influence on optimism and ethical values, this period creates fertile ground for demonstrations and organized resistance. Social movements rallying around justice and fairness may feel particularly empowered by Jupiter's expansive energy. Fueled by a collective sense of optimism and ethical conviction, these movements could drive public demonstrations and resistance, particularly in areas where the government's actions are seen as compromising societal well-being. Movements focused on equality, justice, and inclusivity may gain momentum, pushing back against perceived overreach and defending public freedoms. Jupiter's association with growth and expansion could inspire protests against policies deemed harmful to the environment, highlighting a public desire for sustainability and community welfare. Leaders can harness Jupiter's expansive energy constructively by prioritizing diplomacy and moderation. This approach tempers ambitious policies and ensures that public concerns are addressed, minimizing the risk of alienating the population or other nations. By embracing a measured approach, governments can align their vision with public sentiment, fostering trust and stability. By engaging citizens in discussions on controversial issues, governments can better understand public perspectives and ensure policies reflect collective needs. Gradual changes build public trust and reduce the risk of backlash, allowing governments to implement reforms without provoking fear or resistance. To counter Jupiter's potentially volatile influence, governments can adopt flexible economic policies that prioritize resilience. By embracing cautious investment strategies and contingency planning, leaders can reduce the likelihood of sudden economic disruptions, promoting long-term stability. Policies that balance economic ambition with protective measures help prevent overreach and maintain economic stability. Expanding trade relationships reduces dependency on single economies, mitigating risks from diplomatic conflicts and enhancing resilience. In line with Jupiter's desire for philosophical cohesion, nations can pursue multilateral security initiatives rather than unilateral actions. By working together, countries can de-escalate tensions and create a platform for diplomatic dialogue, balancing national interests with collective security goals. These alliances allow countries to address mutual security concerns, creating stability without compromising national interests. Involving impartial mediators can facilitate constructive dialogue, helping nations find common ground and reduce tensions. Governments can ease public resistance by engaging openly with social movements and acknowledging societal concerns. By fostering inclusivity and transparency, leaders can channel Jupiter's expansive energy positively, reducing the potential for unrest and building public trust. Creating spaces where citizens and government representatives can discuss issues encourages collaboration and fosters mutual understanding. Policies aligned with social justice and inclusivity resonate with Jupiter's emphasis on ethical values, strengthening public trust and unity. The Sun-Jupiter opposition underscores the importance of balance between ambition and accountability, particularly in policy making and international relations. This period invites leaders to embrace moderation, inclusivity, and flexibility, transforming potential overreach into constructive progress. By aligning policies with collective values and fostering open communication, governments can support a harmonious outcome that respects public sentiment and global stability. This alignment offers an opportunity for reflection, urging societies to honor justice, collaboration, and shared values. With thoughtful engagement, leaders and citizens alike can harness Jupiter's expansive energy for growth, creating a future where ambition aligns with responsibility and progress benefits all. Mars-Neptune opposition on December 22, 2024. The Mars-Neptune opposition on December 22, 2024, brings a wave of confusion, potential deception, and misinformation, especially in regions already dealing with political tension, internal instability, or economic struggles. This transit, characterized by Mars's assertiveness clashing with Neptune's murky influence, amplifies susceptibility to disillusionment and scandal. Countries with notable Mars or Neptune aspects in their national charts may feel this influence more acutely. Below is an analysis of the impact on specific countries and strategies to navigate these challenging energies. United States. The U.S., with its natal Mars-Neptune square, could face heightened public distrust in government institutions, alongside potential political scandals and misinformation campaigns. This Mars-Neptune opposition may amplify existing ideological divisions and give rise to conspiracy theories, making the public more vulnerable to misinformation. Historically, Mars-Neptune aspects in the U.S. have led to ideological conflicts, disillusionment with leadership, and significant public distrust. Neptune's influence may cloud perceptions and make it difficult for the public to discern truth from deception. Educational institutions can combat misinformation by teaching media literacy and encouraging critical analysis, equipping citizens with the tools to evaluate information critically. Transparent communication from government agencies can help rebuild public trust and mitigate the spread of conspiracy theories, offering a clear narrative amidst Neptune's foggy influence. Russia and Ukraine. This Mars-Neptune opposition may intensify tensions between Russia and Ukraine, increasing the risk of misinformation, covert actions, and miscommunications. Public disillusionment, especially in Russia, may deepen as Neptune creates a fog over the reality of the conflict. Russia's affinity for secrecy and covert activities aligns with Neptune's influence, while Mars's assertive energy can fuel aggression. The Mars-Neptune opposition heightens the potential for strategic misdirection and disinformation in an already complex geopolitical landscape. Maintaining open diplomatic channels can clarify intentions, reduce misunderstandings, and promote transparency on all sides. Enhanced monitoring by international organizations can deter misinformation campaigns, ensuring transparency and accountability in ongoing negotiations. Israel and Palestine. The Mars-Neptune opposition may deepen distrust between Israel and Palestine, potentially hindering peace negotiations and eroding public confidence in leadership. Miscommunication and propaganda risks could increase, adding confusion and further polarizing the public. In this long-standing conflict, Neptune's influence can blur intentions and motives, while Mars's aggressive tendencies may lead to misunderstandings or strategic misdirection. The resulting confusion could stall peace efforts and increase skepticism toward leadership in the peace process. Transparency in international peace talks can help prevent misunderstandings and build trust, making both parties more accountable to the public. Involving neutral mediators in the peace process can facilitate honest dialogue, fostering trust and creating pathways to mutual understanding. China and Taiwan. The Mars-Neptune opposition may intensify suspicion and misinformation between China and Taiwan, with both sides potentially engaging in military posturing or assertive rhetoric. The public could grow wary of leadership decisions as misinformation spreads, heightening the perception of imminent threats and adding to existing tensions. This opposition could amplify aggressive rhetoric, covert actions, and communication confusion. Neptune's illusionary influence might obscure true intentions, increasing the chances of misunderstandings and escalating tensions. Open dialogue between China and Taiwan can help mitigate the spread of misinformation and provide clarity to both publics, countering the risk of unnecessary conflict. Involving international organizations to monitor the situation and support peace-building efforts can reduce the risk of escalation and foster trust on both sides. Middle East. Iran, Syria, and Yemen. In the Middle East, the Mars-Neptune opposition could lead to an uptick in ideological propaganda, covert military actions, and public mistrust of governmental motives. Disillusionment may grow as citizens face potentially deceptive government actions, with a lack of clarity intensifying social tensions and regional unrest. This region is particularly vulnerable to the Mars-Neptune opposition's tendencies toward covert warfare, propaganda, and manipulation. These influences could deepen regional divisions and foster a climate of suspicion, making it harder for citizens to discern the reality behind governmental intentions. Providing clear, unbiased information through humanitarian initiatives can offer the public an alternative perspective, reducing the spread of misinformation and promoting trust. Transparent diplomatic efforts can ease public anxieties, curbing disinformation and promoting stability by building cooperation among regional leaders. South America, Brazil, Argentina, and Venezuela. South American countries may face political scandals, economic instability, and a climate of distrust, fueled by misinformation and lack of clarity around policy decisions. Economic downturns could be exacerbated as foreign investors withdraw due to perceived instability, further straining local economies. The Mars-Neptune influence can lead to disillusionment with leadership, as Neptune's murky qualities make it difficult to discern government motives. Unclear or miscommunicated economic policies may increase public anxiety and deter foreign investments, destabilizing local economies. Open and transparent communication with international stakeholders can help stabilize the investment climate, reassuring investors and fostering economic resilience. Providing regular, clear updates on government policies can help reduce public anxieties, preventing panic or economic withdrawal and promoting trust between leadership and citizens. The Mars-Neptune opposition on December 22, 2024, brings a complex mix of mistrust, confusion, and potential deception, affecting countries globally. However, this transit also provides an opportunity for nations to adopt proactive, integrative strategies that foster resilience, transparency, and community strength. By addressing these challenges constructively, governments and citizens can navigate Neptune's clouded influence with clarity and unity. Here are some key strategies to manage the impact of the Mars-Neptune opposition effectively. In countries susceptible to misinformation, fostering community engagement and media literacy can empower citizens to critically evaluate information, reducing Neptune's deceptive influence. By educating the public to discern credible sources from propaganda, governments can curtail the spread of misinformation. Media literacy programs in schools, along with public workshops, can equip citizens to spot bias and verify facts. Local networks, from neighborhood groups to community centers, can serve as trusted sources of information, reducing the reach of misinformation and reinforcing social cohesion. For countries facing heightened tensions, such as Russia-Ukraine, Israel-Palestine, and China-Taiwan, international organizations like the United Nations and the International Crisis Group can play vital roles in mediating and observing diplomatic processes. Open diplomacy can reduce the confusion caused by Neptune's influence, minimizing the risk of conflicts escalating due to misunderstandings or concealed agendas. Engaging third-party observers helps ensure transparency, setting a standard for accountability and reducing opportunities for miscommunication or covert actions that could escalate tensions. Countries vulnerable to public mistrust or potential political scandals, such as the United States and certain South American nations, can enhance public confidence by prioritizing transparency and accountability in governance. Governments can combat disillusionment by being open about policy decisions, especially regarding economic and social policies. This transparency reduces the potential for ideological divides and curtails Mars's influence on aggression and conflict. Regular updates from government officials and accessible information portals can help rebuild public trust and counter the secrecy that Neptune can encourage. Countries experiencing social tensions or misinformation campaigns can enhance resilience by forming or strengthening global and regional alliances. This collaboration supports collective efforts to counteract propaganda and provide citizens with clear, factual information. For example, Middle Eastern countries like Syria and Yemen can work together to build a unified narrative that counters external propaganda. This approach fosters regional stability and promotes unbiased information among citizens. Peace-building coalitions can advocate for transparency and factual reporting, creating a solid foundation for resilience and reducing Neptune's potential for fostering confusion and division. The anxiety and sense of disillusionment that may accompany the Mars-Neptune opposition can be mitigated by prioritizing mental health and emotional support services. Providing accessible mental health resources helps citizens manage the stress of collective uncertainty. Governments and organizations can establish counseling services and support groups, helping individuals process anxiety and providing tools to manage stress during uncertain times. By creating safe spaces for communal support, governments and local leaders can foster a culture of emotional resilience, helping citizens navigate this challenging transit. The Mars-Neptune opposition on December 22, 2024, underscores the need for clarity, transparency, and resilience in times of potential mistrust and confusion. By proactively addressing media literacy, diplomatic engagement, transparency in governance, regional alliances, and mental health resources, nations can empower their citizens to navigate Neptune's influence constructively. This approach builds a foundation of resilience and clarity, fostering a world that remains connected and grounded in times of uncertainty. With these integrative strategies, countries and communities alike can respond to the challenges of this Mars-Neptune transit with wisdom and foresight, transforming the potential for deception into an opportunity for transparency and unity. Sun-Pluto conjunction on December 26-28, 2024. The Sun-Pluto conjunction on December 26-28, 2024, brings a powerful emphasis on transformation, control, and authority, illuminating Pluto's intense energy within political and social arenas. Governments may attempt to assert power, enact substantial reforms, or undergo restructuring, which could sometimes lead to heightened authoritarian actions and public concern. By integrating astrological, sociological, and psychological insights, countries can navigate this potent energy constructively, fostering stability and resilience. Here's an analysis of specific countries and strategies to harness this transformative alignment. United States. The Sun-Pluto conjunction could drive an increase in governmental oversight, heightened focus on national security, and potentially authoritarian actions. Internal investigations or significant reforms may emerge as leaders seek to assert control amid political polarization, sparking public concern over transparency and accountability. Pluto's transformative nature often brings crises as catalysts for change, resonating with current U.S. challenges in government trust, security, and socio-economic disparities. Emphasizing transparency can help manage public perception and reduce fear or mistrust. Open communication around policy decisions, especially in security and reform areas, can foster public confidence. Investing in community resilience programs can strengthen societal bonds, reducing the impact of power struggles and helping citizens feel supported during transformative periods. China. This alignment may intensify China's efforts to assert control over contested territories or economic sectors, potentially reinforcing authoritarian policies and leading to shifts in trade or diplomatic strategies. China's government might push for structural reforms or consolidate power within key areas. Pluto's transformative energy aligns with China's goals for stability, economic expansion, and control, supporting its historical approach to power consolidation and restructuring. Prioritizing open, transparent diplomatic communication can help reduce global concerns and misinterpretations over territorial moves or policy changes. Implementing policies that stabilize the economy can reassure both domestic and foreign investors, maintaining economic confidence and reducing volatility during periods of restructuring. Russia may see intensified internal restructuring, with the government consolidating control over economic and military resources. This could potentially lead to efforts to extend influence in neighboring regions, creating opportunities for geopolitical shifts and increased authority. Pluto's themes of control and transformation resonate strongly with Russia's internal and geopolitical objectives, providing the energy to reinforce authority both domestically and within its sphere of influence. Clear and open communication with the public during transformative actions can build trust and support, reducing potential resistance to government policies. Engaging in transparent dialogue with neighboring countries can prevent misunderstandings or escalations that may arise from perceived power plays, contributing to regional stability. By prioritizing transparency, governments can foster trust and reduce public concern around power consolidation. Open communication about policy changes and security measures can help manage public perception, balancing Pluto's transformative energy with stability. Economic stability measures, such as reinforcing trade partnerships and implementing policies that support domestic growth, can mitigate the financial uncertainty often associated with transformative periods. These policies ensure that economic reforms build a foundation for long-term resilience. Diplomatic engagement and clear communication with neighboring countries can prevent potential conflicts arising from power struggles. Promoting cooperative efforts and transparency within regional alliances can help manage Pluto's intensity constructively, maintaining stability and reducing tension. Investing in social programs that foster community engagement and mental health resources can help citizens manage the intensity of this transit. By strengthening social bonds and supporting individual resilience, governments can empower communities to navigate transformation with stability and cohesion. Pluto's intensity may provoke public anxiety or feelings of powerlessness, especially in response to sweeping changes. Accessible mental health services and public support initiatives can help citizens cope with stress and uncertainty, fostering resilience within communities. Middle East Iran and Saudi Arabia. In Iran and Saudi Arabia, the Sun-Pluto conjunction may trigger power shifts within leadership, changes in regional alliances, and increased control over economic and ideological narratives. Leaders might attempt to consolidate authority or exert greater influence over regional dynamics, which could intensify underlying tensions. Pluto's transformative energy emphasizes restructuring, often bringing internal challenges to the surface. For Iran and Saudi Arabia, these themes could highlight regional power dynamics, pushing both nations to assert greater influence and control. By working with international bodies, both countries can support regional stability. Diplomatic efforts focused on transparency and conflict resolution can help mitigate power struggles, reducing the likelihood of escalations. Promoting cultural resilience initiatives can reduce ideological conflicts within these nations, fostering a sense of national unity and minimizing internal divides. Programs that celebrate shared heritage and promote inclusivity can strengthen social cohesion. United Kingdom and European Union. In the UK and EU, this aspect may bring forward issues related to sovereignty, economic stability, and political alliances. Leaders may push for reforms or structural changes to assert control in response to ongoing socio-economic challenges, potentially leading to intensified debates on national sovereignty and economic direction. Pluto's transformative influence often prompts shifts within political structures, leading to increased emphasis on reform. For the UK and EU, this period may reveal areas where authority and stability are needed, particularly in economic and social policies. Open communication with public stakeholders can alleviate anxiety around policy changes, especially regarding sovereignty and economic reforms. By keeping citizens informed, leaders can build public trust and reduce resistance to necessary adjustments. Implementing policies that support individuals affected by economic transitions can help reinforce public stability. Social welfare programs can provide a safety net, fostering resilience during transformative periods and reinforcing the collective sense of security. Transparent governance can help manage public perception, reducing anxiety around leadership actions and transformations. Openly communicating the rationale behind policy changes fosters trust, aligning Pluto's energy with stability. Countries facing regional tensions can benefit from international support in managing power dynamics. Diplomatic partnerships that emphasize cooperative security and conflict resolution can help prevent escalations and build collective resilience. Cultural integration programs that focus on unity, heritage, and shared values can help nations navigate ideological divides. By fostering cultural resilience, governments can support a unified public front, reducing the impact of divisive narratives. Implementing social policies that address economic insecurities can support individuals affected by Pluto's transformative influence. Governments can focus on initiatives that bolster economic resilience, such as unemployment benefits, housing assistance, and access to healthcare. Community-based initiatives that promote emotional and social resilience can help citizens navigate uncertain times. Support networks and mental health resources can alleviate collective anxiety, providing tools for individuals to adapt to changes constructively. The Sun-Pluto conjunction on December 26-28, 2024, highlights a period of transformation, control, and potential power shifts that can reshape governance, society, and international relations. While this alignment may bring heightened power struggles and public anxieties, it also offers opportunities for profound growth and positive change. By integrating astrological insights with practical sociological and psychological strategies, nations can harness Pluto's intensity constructively, fostering resilience, transparency, and unity. Below are integrative strategies to manage this potent transit effectively. Governments can counteract public anxieties and fears around control by fostering psychological resilience. By offering accessible mental health resources, leaders can empower citizens to navigate the intensity of this period with strength and clarity. Initiatives that focus on emotional support, stress management, and mental health awareness can alleviate Pluto-driven anxieties. Providing resources through schools, workplaces, and community centers can help citizens process feelings of uncertainty constructively. Clear communication on policies and power shifts can ease fears. Public campaigns that emphasize government accountability and transparency can foster a sense of security, even during transformative periods. Pluto's influence often brings hidden truths to light, which can lead to scandals or mistrust in leadership. By establishing transparent communication channels, governments can prevent misinformation and build public trust, minimizing anxieties around transformative changes. Offering accessible updates on policy changes and reform efforts can mitigate fear and mistrust. Town halls, virtual forums, and public-facing platforms provide citizens with direct communication from leadership, promoting openness. By maintaining a clear and unified message, governments can counter misinformation, addressing Pluto's tendency to amplify secrecy and control. Consistent communication builds trust, enabling leaders to guide citizens through change confidently. Investing in community support and social empowerment programs can channel Pluto's transformative energy into constructive societal bonds. By fostering civic engagement and supporting volunteer initiatives, governments can strengthen social unity. Programs that focus on supporting underserved populations build resilience by promoting inclusivity. Social welfare initiatives, such as food security, housing assistance, and employment support, create a strong foundation for community stability. Encouraging citizens to engage in volunteer work and community projects can help people feel empowered and connected, reducing the sense of isolation that Pluto's intensity may amplify. Pluto's influence often calls for transformative change, particularly in areas like economy and social structures. By focusing on long-term economic stability and social equity, governments can address Pluto-driven challenges with sustainable and equitable solutions. Initiatives that prioritize sustainable development, resource management, and economic equality can provide stability. Long-term policies that address wealth gaps and social disparities help societies navigate Pluto's transformative influence with resilience. Policies that address climate change, resource scarcity, and environmental health align with Pluto's call for profound transformation. By focusing on sustainable practices, governments can create a more resilient foundation for future generations. Pluto's influence on power dynamics may intensify international tensions, particularly where issues of sovereignty or territory arise. Diplomatic efforts that emphasize peace, cooperation, and open communication can reduce the risk of conflict escalation. Countries can engage in diplomatic efforts to strengthen peace and stability, promoting cooperative security arrangements that align with Pluto's transformative energy. Mediation efforts, involving neutral parties, can help manage disputes over territory and sovereignty. Encouraging dialogues based on mutual respect can counteract Pluto's tendency to provoke power struggles. Pluto encourages transformation, and this period can be an opportunity to address inequalities and promote progressive reforms. By working with social reform advocates and focusing on equity, governments can turn Pluto's intensity into positive change. Addressing social inequalities, advocating for justice, and promoting fair resource distribution align with Pluto's transformative influence. Engaging communities and social movements can foster policies that support inclusivity and fairness. By establishing frameworks for progressive change, leaders can build a resilient society that embraces transformation. This approach ensures that Pluto's intensity is channeled into constructive actions that benefit all citizens. The Sun-Pluto conjunction on December 26-28, 2024, emphasizes transformation, power, and the potential for profound societal shifts. By combining psychological resilience programs, transparent governance, community support, economic reforms, conflict resolution, and progressive social initiatives, nations can navigate this powerful alignment effectively. These strategies enable societies to harness Pluto's intensity for constructive change, fostering stability, unity, and a shared commitment to growth. This alignment encourages leaders and citizens to embrace transformation thoughtfully, balancing authority with transparency and resilience. By aligning Pluto's transformative energy with strategic action, societies can create a foundation for lasting progress, strengthening their structures and building a united, resilient future. The second full moon of the month, a blue moon, in Cancer, December 30th, 2024. The blue moon in Cancer on December 30th, 2024, represents a powerful moment for reflection on family, homeland, and community. This rare lunar event amplifies Cancer's themes, urging countries to address domestic issues, national identity, security, and environmental welfare. For nations with significant Cancer placements in their astrological charts are strong Cancerian themes within their national identity, such as the United States, Canada, Russia, India, China, and several European countries. This full moon emphasizes the importance of nurturing, unity, and resilience. Below is a country-specific forecast and integrative strategies for constructively harnessing the energy of this blue moon. Countries influenced: United States, Canada, Russia, and Germany. For countries where Cancerian themes of family, security, and tradition are central to national identity, e.g., the US with its Cancer sun. This full moon may highlight the need to focus on domestic improvements. Areas such as healthcare, housing, and social welfare will likely come under increased public scrutiny as citizens push for enhanced support for families, vulnerable populations, and communities. In the US and Canada, rising concerns about income inequality and social welfare may prompt initiatives aimed at improving healthcare access, community-based mental health services, and affordable housing. Governments might face pressure to prioritize programs that enhance quality of life for all citizens. Russia, with its focus on national security, may look to strengthen social welfare programs, enhancing healthcare and access to essential resources. In Germany, where social support systems are highly valued, this full moon could prompt further emphasis on community welfare, particularly for aging populations and other vulnerable groups. Reflecting Cancer's nurturing qualities, each country can develop policies that address individual and community needs. Governments could focus on creating community-driven health plans, family-oriented welfare initiatives, and affordable housing programs that prioritize care, stability, and accessibility. Countries influenced: United States, India, China, Russia, and France. Cancer's ties to roots and family can bring issues of national identity and patriotism to the forefront, especially in nations where cultural pride and heritage are integral to national consciousness. The blue moon may intensify patriotic sentiments, sparking debates around immigration, cultural preservation, and sovereignty. In India, this full moon may bring issues of cultural heritage and sovereignty to the spotlight, emphasizing traditional values, cultural preservation, and the protection of national identity. Similarly, in China, themes of sovereignty may gain prominence, potentially leading to stronger rhetoric on territorial integrity or domestic security. In the US and France, this lunar event may intensify discussions surrounding immigration. While Cancer's influence encourages the safeguarding of traditions, it also invites a balanced approach that respects cultural diversity and integration. Countries can use this period to foster a sense of national identity that respects both heritage and diversity. By encouraging narratives that celebrate cultural diversity as part of national pride, these nations can mitigate the divisive effects of heightened patriotism, building unity around shared values and inclusive ideals. Cancer's association with nurturance and environmental welfare can inspire governments to prioritize ecological preservation and sustainable resource management. Countries facing environmental challenges may see public calls for stronger policies that protect natural resources and address climate change. Governments can promote local conservation initiatives, encouraging citizens to participate in preserving natural resources and maintaining clean, healthy environments. Developing long-term strategies for resource use and environmental protection can align with Cancer's focus on care and preservation, addressing public concerns about ecological security. Cancer's themes of family and community can help strengthen social bonds, making this an ideal period for initiatives that promote inclusivity, understanding, and mutual support. Countries can focus on policies that unite citizens around common values, fostering social resilience and cohesion. By investing in social support networks, such as community centers, mental health programs, and neighborhood initiatives, governments can create spaces that encourage connection, unity, and shared responsibility. Public initiatives that emphasize empathy, community care, and support for vulnerable groups can help citizens navigate challenges with resilience, reinforcing a sense of belonging and unity. The blue moon's focus on family and security may heighten public sensitivity to issues of governance and authority. Transparent communication from leaders can help ease public concerns, fostering trust and a sense of collective purpose. Offering citizens opportunities to voice their concerns and engage with policymakers can promote transparency and accountability, helping governments respond more effectively to the needs of the population. Leaders can cultivate trust by showing empathy and responsiveness to citizens' needs, creating policies that reflect shared values of care, stability, and respect. Countries influenced: Japan, Indonesia, United States, and Caribbean nations. Cancers linked to the natural world, especially water, emphasizes the importance of coastal protection, water management, and climate resilience. Countries with coastlines and histories of natural disasters, such as Japan and Indonesia, are likely to prioritize policies focused on environmental protection and disaster preparedness. This full moon brings an intensified focus on safeguarding natural resources and infrastructure, aligning with Cancer's nurturing and protective qualities. Japan and Indonesia, where earthquakes and tsunamis are prevalent, may increase their focus on disaster resilience and coastal protections. This could involve strengthening infrastructure, updating emergency response systems, and enforcing stricter building codes, all in line with Cancer's protective influence. The US and Caribbean nations, vulnerable to hurricanes and rising sea levels, may see greater emphasis on addressing coastal erosion, water resources, and disaster relief plans. Environmental discussions are likely to focus on the roles of communities and governments in climate change mitigation and resource protection. This period presents an ideal time for governments to invest in preventive infrastructure, such as flood defenses, sustainable coastal architecture, and resilient housing. Cancer's nurturing energy supports long-term environmental investments, underscoring the importance of community-driven efforts and governmental commitment to climate adaptation and resilience. Countries influenced: Canada, Scandinavian nations, United Kingdom, and Germany. Cancer's association with caregiving and family welfare highlights issues related to healthcare access, mental health support, and social safety nets. Countries with established social welfare frameworks, such as Canada, the UK, and Scandinavian nations, are likely to reassess and enhance their healthcare policies. This lunar influence encourages inclusive and accessible support systems, with a focus on providing for families, children, and underserved communities. In Canada and Germany, where universal healthcare is a core value, this full moon may prompt calls for enhanced accessibility, especially in rural or underserved areas. Initiatives might focus on integrating mental health services within primary healthcare frameworks to provide holistic support. Scandinavian countries, known for strong family welfare policies, may see expansions in childcare, family leave, and elder care, aligning with Cancer's nurturing focus. In the UK, public sentiment may push for social reforms that prioritize overall well-being, emphasizing the need for inclusive, family-centered support systems. Reflecting Cancer's nurturing essence, policies can aim to reduce healthcare disparities by expanding access, especially in remote and underserved regions. Incorporating family-oriented mental health services can address growing needs, ensuring holistic support for both physical and mental well-being. Cancer's protective qualities extend to community-driven initiatives for environmental preservation and resource management. This lunar influence encourages the development of programs that engage citizens in conservation efforts and create shared responsibility for ecological well-being. Governments can initiate or expand conservation programs that promote public participation in maintaining clean, sustainable environments. Efforts might include community cleanup drives, water conservation campaigns, and educational initiatives on environmental stewardship. Building partnerships with local organizations and NGOs can enhance resource management practices. By empowering communities to take active roles in preservation, these programs foster resilience and collective commitment to environmental health. Cancer's focus on family and community encourages policies that strengthen social bonds and foster a culture of mutual support. This is an ideal period for programs that promote inclusivity, community mental health, and social cohesion. Establishing or expanding social networks, such as community centers, mental health services, and family support programs, can provide citizens with resources to navigate social and economic challenges. Public initiatives that foster empathy, support diversity, and encourage inclusive attitudes can help individuals feel connected and supported, reinforcing a strong community spirit in times of change. Cancer's influence can heighten public sensitivity to governmental actions and policies. Transparent communication and compassionate leadership can help foster public trust, aligning policy decisions with the needs of communities and promoting collective well-being. Creating platforms where citizens can openly discuss concerns and provide feedback on policy decisions can enhance transparency. Town halls, community meetings, and digital forums allow governments to address public needs while fostering accountability. By prioritizing policies that focus on care, empathy, and support for vulnerable populations, leaders can align with Cancer's nurturing energy, fostering a strong and supportive social structure. Countries influenced: Ukraine, Russia, United States, Israel, and Middle Eastern nations. Cancer's protective nature may heighten responses to perceived security threats, especially in countries with vested interests in defending their territories. For Ukraine and Russia, this period may intensify focus on military strategies and border security. In the Middle East, where ongoing conflicts demand a balance between defense and diplomacy, countries could re-evaluate their border protection and military readiness. Russia and Ukraine are likely to focus on strengthening border security, addressing territorial claims, and enhancing military capabilities. Similarly, Middle Eastern countries might bolster defensive measures and explore diplomatic solutions where possible. For nations like Israel and the United States, which play key roles in regional diplomacy, Cancer's influence encourages a balanced approach, blending protective instincts with peace-building efforts. Mediators and international allies may be critical in fostering negotiation and averting escalations. Cancer's nurturing energy supports strategies that prioritize diplomacy and humanitarian efforts over escalation. Through negotiations, conflict resolution, and peace-building initiatives, countries can work to prevent prolonged conflicts and ensure regional stability, aligning national defense with a commitment to peace and resilience. Countries influenced: United States, China, European Union, and Brazil. Cancer's influence may heighten concerns about economic security, particularly in terms of investment stability and sustainable growth. In the US and China, this period may bring a focus on safeguarding key industries and fostering economic resilience. European Union nations, prioritizing stability over rapid expansion, may emphasize fair wages, healthcare, and family welfare as pillars of economic growth. China may focus on stabilizing its economic policies to reassure foreign investors, prioritizing sustainable growth. The US could look to secure critical sectors and support small businesses, creating a buffer against global economic fluctuations. European Union countries may embrace policies that support social welfare, healthcare access, and equitable wages, viewing these as essential for long-term stability. In Brazil, balancing economic development with environmental sustainability may come into sharper focus, aligning with Cancer's nurturing approach to resource management. Reflecting Cancer's nurturing qualities, economic strategies that support local industries, protect key sectors, and foster long-term stability can reduce dependence on volatile foreign investments. Policies that emphasize community resilience, family welfare, and sustainability provide a stable economic foundation that benefits both current and future generations. Cancer's focus on family and community well-being encourages nations to prioritize policies that strengthen social support networks. This full moon is an ideal time to reinforce social programs that support families, children, and vulnerable populations. Nations can expand healthcare, housing, and educational support systems, ensuring they meet the needs of families and communities. Initiatives that provide mental health resources and community centers can enhance social resilience. Governments might create or strengthen community-based programs that provide emergency assistance, food security, and housing support, fostering a safety net that empowers communities to navigate economic and social challenges. Cancer's emphasis on trust and security aligns with the need for transparent governance, particularly in matters of defense and economic stability. Open communication from leadership can help foster public trust, ensuring that citizens feel informed and protected. Leaders can create forums where citizens can voice concerns and provide feedback on national security and economic policies, promoting transparency and accountability. By openly discussing policies related to investment stability, sustainable growth, and social welfare, governments can reassure citizens and mitigate economic anxieties. Cancer's affinity for protection extends to the environment, encouraging countries to invest in sustainable practices and climate resilience. Coastal nations and regions vulnerable to climate change may see an intensified focus on environmental protections and disaster preparedness. Investing in infrastructure such as flood defenses, sustainable coastal developments, and resilient housing aligns with Cancer's protective energy, ensuring that communities are better prepared for natural disasters. Policies that balance economic growth with environmental responsibility can help countries mitigate the impact of climate change, preserving natural resources for future generations. The December 30th, 2024, Blue Moon in Cancer emphasizes security, stability, and community care, urging nations to address domestic and international challenges through a lens of empathy, resilience, and sustainability. By prioritizing peace-driven security, balanced economic policies, community resilience, transparent governance, and environmental protections, countries can harness this lunar influence to build a safer, more unified, and nurturing world. This lunar event invites leaders and communities to embrace Cancer's nurturing essence, promoting policies that protect both people and the planet. By aligning national interests with Cancer's qualities of care, security, and sustainability, governments can foster unity, strengthen social infrastructure, and navigate economic and geopolitical challenges with compassion and foresight, creating a foundation for long-term growth and resilience.
The turning of the tides, December's cosmic finale. As December unfurls its celestial tapestry, the final month of the year builds like the slow rumble of an approaching storm, one infused with electric tension, heady anticipation, and a potent blend of cosmic forces at play. The heavens are ripe with significance, and in this grand finale, the stars themselves seem to hold their breath as if awaiting history's next act. With Mars square to Jupiter, a clash of titans unfolds, igniting a fiery contest between ambition and restraint, between the hunger for expansion and the boundaries of reality. This alignment vibrates with a restless energy, sparking a whirlwind of political friction and ideological struggle. It's as if we are thrust into the heart of a timeless drama, reminiscent of the grand courts of empires past, where kings and philosophers once debated the future of their realms. The embers of history flare to life, reawakening our awareness of the profound weight that choices carry. Then, Mars and Saturn align, merging passion with pragmatism, calling forth the disciplined hand of Saturn to temper Mars's relentless drive. This conjunction is the architect's draft, the slow, sturdy layering of foundations that have borne the weight of dynasties and civilizations. In this alignment lies a summons for us all, to act with foresight, to construct with patience, to shoulder responsibility as those who built the ancient marvels, anticipating generations to come. With Uranus in Taurus now resuming direct motion, the weighty influence of change gains momentum, particularly in the realm of the Earth itself. Infrastructure, agriculture, national identity, all brought to the fore as they teeter on the brink of innovation or upheaval. As the phases of the moon shift like a spotlight across the globe, the celestial light captures the world's gaze, amplifying the pulse of international relations and echoing in the chambers of government where whispers of reform now grow to a determined hum. Ideologies swirl and reform, a sea of ideas converging on the shores of national identity as leaders stand poised to steer their people through choppy waters. Like the ancient mariners who looked to the stars for direction, so too do modern leaders now find guidance in the heavens, forging alliances and embarking on diplomatic voyages that hint at a lasting peace but demand respect for the storms that lie ahead. As the sun crosses into Capricorn on December 21st, 2024, the winter solstice heralds a powerful turn, a descent into the depths of introspection where the lessons of the year crystallize into wisdom. Capricorn, the keeper of structure, governance, and tradition, casts its steadfast gaze upon the world, grounding us, urging balance and perseverance in the face of uncertainty. In this cosmic pause, leaders may announce policies that emphasize accountability, long-term strategy, and fiscal restraint. Economic measures focus on sustainable growth and responsible stewardship, echoing Capricorn's ancient lesson. True strength is tempered by discipline, not driven by impulse. From grand parliaments to humble kitchens, a new awareness emerges of the Earth's delicate resources, prompting policies rooted in climate resilience and environmental guardianship. National security and public infrastructure take center stage,
fortified as if each road laid and every bridge reinforced becomes part of an indomitable backbone supporting the future. It's an era reminiscent of towering Gothic cathedrals and sturdy Roman roads, structures that weathered centuries. So too do modern leaders seek to construct lasting legacies, resilient systems that will endure. As the year's final days approach, we are drawn into a hypnotic narrative that is as ancient as it is contemporary. It's a time for us all to be architects of our own lives, to look to the foundations and set stones that will endure. The stage is set, the players in motion, yet what lies ahead remains veiled in shadow. The planets have placed their pieces on the board, but it's up to us to take the next step forward. And so, we watch, we listen, we wait, as the universe signals that the most vital moments, the unexpected twists, and the triumphant rise are yet to come. Let us move into the future with purpose, for this is only the beginning.